is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Southwest.
Texas Rangers baseball is presented by AT Uverse TV. Another large crowd filing into Globe Life Park tonight. A warm, sultry summer's evening. The Rangers and the Athletics getting set to wrap up this three-game series. And welcome in, everyone, along with Tom Greaves, Steve Busby. Glad you can join us on this Sunday night of Ranger baseball as the Rangers look for their first series win in better than a month. And they are putting the game tonight in the hands of Mikolas to start things off. Miles, Tom, coming off a great outing in New York against the Yankees.
Yeah, he is, Buzz. And in his minor league career, he's done a lot of relief pitching, not a lot of starting. The Rangers are giving him a nice audition right now as a starting pitcher. He's had 4 starts. His 4th start was his last start at Yankee Stadium, and that was his best start. He's shown a good fastball, can reach the mid-90s, a cut fastball, a pretty good curveball. It all came together very well for him against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. Not the easiest setting for a young pitcher to start a ball game, but Miles did an excellent job. He pitched into the 8th inning, one of the few pitchers really in the last couple of months to pitch into the 8th inning for the Rangers. Only gave up 4 hits and a couple of runs, and hopefully he can back that game up with another nice one tonight.
And the Ranger starters have been on a pretty good roll of late. 3 consecutive quality starts out of the starters, so Mikolas is trying to add one more to that log here tonight. Now the Rangers looking to win a series against the A's. We'll be back with the starting lineups in the first pitch right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. On Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealer. The Ford Summer Spectacular Sales Event now playing at a Ford dealer near you. By AT Uverse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT, mobilizing your world. And by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. Another hot summer's evening here at Globe Life Park. A little bit earlier start, so the heat very much in evidence here tonight, as are the youngsters on this Sunday evening. Ron Washington's club trying to win 2 out of 3, a first series win since back at the end of June. Before we get started, let's head down to the field. Aaron Hardigan is standing by. Aaron.
Hey, Buzz. Ron Washington mentioned earlier that the mental stamina is what made the difference for Mikolas last week in New York. And the mental stamina is certainly what he's hoping to carry with him back to the mound tonight.
I think execution of pitches, mainly when he needed to execute a pitch, he did. And that was the one thing that got him to the back of the game. And that's what he's going to have to do today. He's going to have to execute pitches against a much better offensive team than he faced in New York. So it's going to be ongoing, and all it's about is executing pitches and making pitches when you have to make pitches, and that's what it's about at the major league level.
And as Mikolas noted last night, what better way to build off of his first win of the season than to get this rubber match here against the A's today, guys?
All right, Aaron, yeah, good point. That is something to look forward to for the 25-year-old. Now let's take a look at the Oakland A's batting order that Bob Melvin has cobbled together to face Miles Mikolas tonight. It begins with the catcher John Jaso. Next is the DH Stephen Vogt. Yoenis Cespedes plays left field. Brandon Moss bats cleanup and plays first. Josh Donaldson is the third baseman. Josh Reddick is in right field. Jed Lowry back in the lineup, playing shortstop, batting seventh. Eric Sogard is the second baseman, and batting ninth, the former Ranger Craig Gentry. He plays center.
And we'll check our Sonic scouting report for Miles Mikolas. He's had 4 starts with the Rangers. His ERA is 7.48, but his last start was very good against the Yankees. 318 opponents' batting averages. Actually, right-handers have hit much better than left-handers against him. He retired 20 of the last 24 batters he faced in that start July 21st at Yankee Stadium. That had to be a good confidence booster for Miles, and hopefully that'll play strongly for him today against the A's.
And while we have a second here, let's take a look at the Ranger defense. Brought to you by Chicken Express. In the outfield tonight, Daniel Robertson starting in left, Leonis Martinez in center, Alex Rios is in right. J.P. Arancibia mans first base. Adam Rosales gets the start at second. He's joined by Elvis Andrus up the middle. Adrian Beltre at third. Chris Jimenez is catching tonight for Miles Mikolas. The A's able to even things up in this series last night with a victory over the Rangers. The A's come in with a 2-game lead in the division over the Los Angeles Angels. Athletics at 64 and 39, and 25 games over 500, the high water mark for Bob Melvin's team this year. John Jaso steps in. You'll remember Jaso had to leave last night's ball game. A little tenderness in that left knee, but apparently nothing major. He's back in there. First ball swinging, he skies one to pretty deep left center field. Moving back is Robertson and Leonis Martin, and they come together, and Martin makes the catch for out number 1.
Because one thing we're going to see today is one of the worst sun fields in baseball. With the game starting an hour earlier, it won't just be a 15-minute window for that sun. It's going to be about an hour and 15 minutes. That was a high fly ball, so Daniel was going to be able to catch it if Martin didn't come over and catch it for him. But those line drives and those soft fly balls are going to be really tough for over an hour. Left fielder's got his hands full today.
You know, Mikolas can get him to hit it way up in the air like he did Jaso. That's okay.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem there.
I got to think one of the left fielders is going to have a problem at some point in time today.
Yeah, I think you're right. Here's Stephen Vogt, the DH. Second straight night that the left-handed hitting Vogt is DH. Takes a strike. 358 the average. 4 home runs. 21 driven in. And the A's notes, they'll tell you that Vogt has the highest average in the American League for hitters that have 100 or more plate appearances. Does not qualify for the league leadership, but in July, Stephen Vogt third. He qualifies for this month. Rajai Davis leading the pack. Eric Hosmer at 410. Robinson Cano just behind Vogt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mikolas, every once in a while, pump up that fastball. He just threw that last one right by Stephen Vogt. Miles will typically run the fastball in the low 90s, occasionally touch 94. 1-2 pitch. Loop to left field. Daniel Robertson on the run, a dive, and he traps it. Fortunate that he was able to get the glove on top of that ball as it bounced. Otherwise, that's by him and extra bases for Vogt. But a great effort by Daniel Robertson, just a little bit short.
Yeah, Vogt was fooled on the breaking ball from Miles Mikolas. A little hesitation type swing, bloops it out there. That was one of those line drives, but Daniel saw that all the way, not having to look into the sun to try to catch it. Makes a beautiful pickup. Doesn't translate into an out, but he kept that ball from getting by him for an extra base hit.
A 1 on 1 out after the looping single from Vogt. And here's Yoenis Cespedes. Cespedes, you remember last night, crunched his 17th home run of the year, an opposite field shot. And he goes after the first pitch here, and it's a towering pop foul. We're back into the seats down the left side, and the count moves to 0-1. Cespedes, 254 average, 63 runs driven in to go along with those 17 home runs. On base percentage, and no, Cespedes doesn't walk a whole lot, 304 with a 254 average. 0-1 to him. Mikolas studying the signs from Jimenez. Vogt a short lead at first. And the pitch is outside. 100 degrees at game time here tonight. First time this year we've had a triple-digit first pitch.
That's a good night to have fedora night at the ballpark. All the fans have their white fedoras on.
Yep.
Looking pretty sharp, male and female, young and old. That hat fits anybody.
Mikolas with a 1-1. Got him on the fist, and now it's a ball and 2 strikes. Yoenis Cespedes, a 7-game hitting streak coming into play here tonight. He's on 10 for 29, 2 for 8 in this series. He had a pretty good drought of base hits and home runs in particular. About a month and a week. He's back at it now, and the Rangers hope that he doesn't really get going until they leave town after tonight. Got him swinging. Good breaking ball from Mikolas. And Cespedes strikes out. 2 gone.
Miles made Cespedes very aware of his fastball, and then went to his slider and got Cespedes to chase one way out of the strike zone. Cespedes must not have picked that ball up. That was 6 inches away from even being long enough to touch that ball.
Well, you remember last time out against the Yankees, Mikolas only 3 strikeouts, but he had a big one here in the first inning, disposing of Cespedes. So 2 outs. Here is Brandon Moss, the first baseman. Team leader with 23 home runs, hitting at 266. Moss a little tardy pulling the trigger on that 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Also this time of night might be a little bit difficult for the hitters to pick up the ball. There's a little bit of, I'm not going to say glare because there isn't much glare, but just a little lighter background than you normally have at the start of game time.
You got the shadows around home plate. Most hitters will say that doesn't favor the hitter.
Kind of that stripe of sunlight in between the mound and home plate. Would that bother you?
I would. Yeah, I never felt that comfortable with a shade like that.
Really?
And I think that, yeah, and I think this time of day, you know, historically has been a little tough on the hitters when the bright sun is out there.
1-1 pitch. Got him on the fist, and Moss fights it off foul.
There's something about being in the shade with the ball in the background kind of coming out of the sunshine. Let's throw you off a little bit.
Brandon Moss, that 10-game hitting streak, but he's hitting about 250 over those 10 games. He's had exactly 1 hit in each of the 10 games. Mikolas ahead of the count, trying to put away Moss. Pitch on the way. We'll try it again.
A good fastball right there. He tuned that one up at 96 miles an hour. A little extra on that one.
Up and running away from Moss. Both the runner at first. 2 outs, a 1-2 count to Brandon Moss. Couldn't get him to offer the breaking ball. That evens things out.
When you look at the assortment of pitches that Mikolas has, you got a solid fastball that at some points in time is well above average. He's got a pretty good curveball, pretty good slider. It's just a matter of developing the consistency to command the pitches, but definitely have some pretty good pitches to work with. Good stuff to work with.
20-mile-an-hour variation between top and bottom of that velocity chart. That breaking ball just off the inside corner. Moss could not have swung even if it had been a strike. He was locked up by that. Fox tracker showing you how close that pitch was. Jim Wolf, by the way, calling the balls and strikes, and he is regarded as one of the best, if not the best, ball strike umpires in the major leagues. So a 3-2 count. Vogt will be off and moving. Payoff pitch on the way. Changeup is high. Ball 4. Brandon Moss doing a pretty good job of fighting back from being down in the count to earn the walk with 2 outs. 2 aboard now for Josh Donaldson. Donaldson steps in hitting at .244. He is tied for 5th in the American League with those 73 RBIs. They are tops on the Oakland club. 22 home runs, second to teammate Brandon Moss. Mikolas with the first pitch to Donaldson, and he hits the outside corner. Donaldson 1 for 7 in this series, and that won the home run into the Ranger bullpen right center field last night. As you might expect, the only A's player to face Miles Mikolas has been Nick Punto. That was just one at bat when Punto was in the National League and Mikolas was working with San Diego. Everybody else, this is the first go around. Here's Punto. Nick not in the starting lineup tonight. 0-1. The count to Donaldson. Donaldson last year, an outstanding breakout year. A 3.01 average with 24 home runs, 93 RBI. He was up among the league leaders in most offensive categories. 1-1 to him. Got him on the fist and a roller out to Elvis. Underhands to Rosales. That'll do it. Oh, a hit and a walk. The A's are out. They strand a pair. Bottom of the first coming up. A's nothing. Rangers on the way. hitting a walk, but strand a pair against Miles Mikolas. Now the Rangers coming to bat here in the bottom of the first inning. Here's the Southwest Airlines batting order for your Rangers. Shin-Soo Choo leads off again. He is DHing. Elvis Andrus follows. Then it's the right fielder, Alex Rios. Adrian Beltre plays third, bats fourth. J.P. Arancibia at first base. Chris Jimenez catches. Adam Rosales, the start at second. Leonis Martin in center. And Daniel Robertson with a .471 average in his last 5 games. Bats ninth and plays left field.
Sonic scouting report for Scott Kazmir, 11-3 on the season, with the third best ERA in the American League after 20 starts at .232. In July, he's been just about untouchable, a lot like Sonny Gray, last night's A's starter. .086 ERA. That's the second best in Major League Baseball for the month, as long as you've had 20 innings pitched. Opponent's batting average is .209. That's the fourth best in the American League. All-star pitcher, having an all-star year, probably having his best year at age 30.
And he fires a knee-high strike to Shin-Soo Choo. Yeah, Kazmir, a resurgent year, to say the least. Misses just outside. And I still can't get over how well he has conquered that base-on-ball problem that he had throughout his entire career. He has really cut that down, and it's made all the difference in the world for him. 1-1 to Choo. He fights it off foul, 1-2.
Go back a couple of years, go back 3 years, he was released by the Angels after a couple of years where his ERA was close to 6. Back-to-back years. Out of baseball. Then he pitched in Sugar Land, an independent league team, and had a .534 ERA for them in 2012. Last year he came back with the Indians and pitched well. He had a 10-9 record, an ERA right about 4. And the A's picked him in free agency right at the right time, it appears, right when he was ready to put it all together, like he's never done before. He's had some good years, all-star years, but not like this.
Breaking ball pulled toward the hole on the right side. Diving stop and trying to get up the throw with Sogard. He can't do it. And Shin-Soo Choo, another ground ball base hit. Tom, you talked in the pregame about Choo getting some good fortune along with some hits.
Well, the line drives that are caught, they feel good off the bat, but they're 0 for 1. We showed a couple in our pregame show, a blooper to left, one pretty much like this, an infield hit, and another one tonight. I don't know any hitter that won't take the hit over the line drive that's caught any day, so keep them coming. Like Sogard was going to be able to make that play till he couldn't get out of his glove. Would have been a very nice play if he was able to make it.
So Choo aboard to start off this Ranger first inning. Here's Elvis. .264 the average for the Ranger shortstop. Trying to take one to the right side. He had that big hole to work with and fouled it back. I think that's a pitch that Elvis would love to have back again. I think he went up there looking for a pitch out away from him, and he got it from Kazmir.
We saw that a little bit in last night's game by some of the Ranger hitters. When they did get some good pitches to hit, they fouled them off. Yeah, that's one you can really feel confident that you can line into right center field, but he fouled it off.
A bunt, and it's going to be foul down the first base side. Elvis trying to cross him up and push a bunt out towards Sogard, and couldn't get it to stay fair. And the count moves to 0-2. That's something we have not seen Elvis do lately. Try and push that ball. We've seen him drop a couple down the third base line. This is a wrinkle that he's put back in that was in his arsenal last year, the year before. 0-2 now the count. Kazmir, a check of Choo at first. And Elvis shoots one foul down the third baseline. Beautiful shot from right opposite the left field foul pole up in the club level. Our RF camera venturing around the ballpark, give you different views of the field from the various parts. Another 0-2 pitch coming from Kazmir. Just in case Elvis was thinking about looking outside.
Well, the season that Kazmir had last year for Cleveland resulted in a free agency contract from the A's, a 2-year contract, somewhere around $10 or $11 million a year. He parlayed his comeback season last year into a great contract, and looks like he's trying to pitch for another contract.
Yep. Facing a guy now that has pretty much worn him out. Elvis, 8 out of 23. That's a .348 average in his career against Kazmir. But again, this is a different version of Scott Kazmir this year. The same kind of stuff, but utilized much better.
And one thing that I guess if you're the A's, you might worry about a little bit is his health. He's been on the disabled list every year practically the last 5 years at some point in time.
And this one popped up. It's playable. Moss into the first base coach's box. And Elvis is gone. That's out number 1. Alex Rios now coming up. And let's take a look at the Oakland defense tonight, brought to you by Progressive. These are the guys that back up Scott Kazmir. Yoenis Cespedes is the left fielder. Craig Gentry in center. Josh Reddick in right. Moss at first. Sogard and Lowry up the middle. Josh Donaldson at third. John Jaso is catching. Well, 1 on, 1 out. Alex Rios stepping to the plate. .299 the average. Well, the Ranger right fielder. Change up. That floats over the inside corner. Alex Rios, in contrast to Elvis Andrus, has not had much success against Kazmir. That .217 mark would tell you that. He does have a home run, but just 10 for 46. Another changeup, and that one is low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Alex 2 out of 7 in this series, but just 3 for 17 since the All-Star break. This would be game number 10. That 176 average we were talking about. Kazmir originally property of the New York Mets. Went over in a big trade to Tampa Bay, and before he'd ever gotten to the big leagues. Got to Tampa Bay in 2004. 1-1 pitch. Fastball to the outside corner. The trade in 2004 between the Mets and Tampa Bay. Big guy in that trade, Victor Zambrano, went from Tampa Bay to New York. And just inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Rios.
Well, that was a trade that I don't think many people understood the minute it was made. Zambrano, hard sinker ball pitcher, was a pretty good pitcher, but Kazmir is one of the best young left-handers in baseball at the time. Went on to be an all-star twice with Tampa Bay. Zambrano didn't fare quite so well for the Mets. Kazmir has been around a long time. Got to the big leagues very young. And as long as he's been around, he's only 30 years old. So the way he's pitching right now, it looks like he's got a lot of good years ahead of him if he stays healthy. Right. He's been on the disabled list just about every year.
Another 2-2 on the way. That is fouled out of play. Kazmir, a Houston native. Went to Cy Falls High School down there in Houston. Baseball America's High School Player of the Year back in 2002. Again, the left-hander sets a check of first. Hammered foul down the left side. Yeah, nice catch. Right over the tarpaulin.
There you go.
Back bringing his glove out.
That's why you bring your glove right there. I love the hat that his little boy's got on. I saw Joe Macko wearing one of those the other day.
Yeah.
I'm going to get one. There's a high changeup that he hit pretty well. He just couldn't keep it fair. And right back with another one.
Tried another one and missed high and outside. It's now gone full to Alex Rios. Well, Rios in the number 3 slot, trying to get aboard to join Shin-Soo Choo, Adrian Beltre. He's waiting to be next. Scoreless ball game here in the first inning. Both teams with a base hit. Kazmir sets the payoff pitch. Chu on the move. A little tapper out in front of the mound, and Kazmir throws out runners. Into scoring position is Shin-Soo Chu. He's there with 2 outs now for Beltre.
You can definitely tell that Kazmir is not afraid to throw his changeup at any point in time. And 3 straight changeups. Alex, you have to think that one of the reasons right-hand hitters have only hit .201 against Kazmir this year is that changeup. Opponents only hit .209, but right-handers actually hit a little bit lower than left-handers against him.
Kazmir now at the 20 pitch mark, and that is something to be concerned about with the temperature in the 100-degree range here tonight. Adrian Beltre, a .321 average as he stands in. 1 ball, no strikes. Adrian at home this season, still the highest in the American League at .367. 8 of his 14 home runs have come here, as they have 29 of his 54 RBI. Lines this one just foul. Boy, a hooking line drive that missed by, well, about a yard.
Both Adrian and Alex just missed extra base hits down the left field line on off-speed pitches. Kazmir is getting the off-speed pitches up a little bit.
Third base umpire DJ Rayburn down there making that call. The 1-1. A changeup.
A lot of changeups.
Yep.
That's a pretty good changeup too.
Not sure I remember him having that good a changeup, but it would not be a surprise to see a pitcher go over to Oakland and all of a sudden come up with a changeup.
Well, maybe that's one of the reasons he's having such good year, that he's gotten better changeup than he's ever had before. Probably threw a little bit harder as a young pitcher than he does now, but that's pretty meaningless. Another changeup.
Lowry across the diamond. Beltre out by 2 steps, and that'll do it for the Rangers. A hit, 1 left. We're going to the second inning at Globe Life Park. Rangers nothing, A's nothing on Fox Sports. Shine here on this Sunday evening. Globe Life Park, where the A's and the Rangers are working up a sweat trying to get the rubber game of this 3-game series in their win column. Josh Reddick will start things off for Oakland. Reddick steps in a .236 hitter with 5 home runs and 26 driven in. Reddick, you'll remember last night, had the solo home run deep into the right field seats out there. And he takes the first pitch high for ball one. Reddick, since coming back off the disabled list, a .313 average. He's had all kinds of knee problems this year that have sidelined him. Takes a strike from Mikolas. And the count evens at 1-1. Mikolas' next pitch, and it's popped up. Beltre might have a play on it. Adrian right at the railing and has room to make the catch. And Reddick fouls out. One gone for Jed Lowry. And as Lowry walks to the plate, let's welcome in Jim Knox. Jim?
I appreciate it, Buzz. Ranger fans looking good in their Rangers fedoras tonight. Very nice, guys. Community Corner this evening. Talk about the big Labor Day race here at Globe Life Park. That's right, spend Labor Day here at the ballpark. It is the Texas Rangers annual Labor Day race presented by Medical Center Arlington. The proceeds go to the Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation. You even finish right here down on the turf at Globe Life Park. For more information, log on to texasrangers.com/race. Buzz?
All right, Knoxy, thank you. Well, Jed Lowry, the switch hitting shortstop up there, takes high for ball one. Lowry did not play in last night's game, a .243 average. Mikolas back to him, and he ran that fastball right in on the fists of Lowry. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lowry 1 for 4 in Friday night's ball game. He has a modest 4-game hitting streak going. Takes that breaking ball that hangs high and outside. 2 balls and a strike. Lowry, you remember last year coming over from the Astros. Let's see what he's done in his last 16 games at .371. But he was a big boost to the A's, finding that shortstop very much to his liking. Had a great year offensively with a .290 average. Drove in 75 runs. So not only did the A's get a solid shortstop, they got a great offensive player too. 3-1 the count. And ball 4. Lowry works the 1-out walk. Second pass issued by Mikolas tonight. And Eric Sogard will be next. Team leaders, and it's no surprise the Oakland A's pencil them in at the top of the walks leaders almost every year. 385 now, 20 more than second place Boston.
Well, they're also a team this year that strikes out very little. One of the lowest offenses as far as strikeouts go.
Sogard, a .203 hitter. And Mikolas missing high and away for ball 1.
It's one of those nights when it's 100 degrees out that you hope you've got your good command throwing a lot of strikes and you have some quick innings. You want your pitch count to pile up and have long innings. Takes a lot out of you on a night like this.
29th pitch of the night coming from Mikolas. A check of first. And Sogard fouls it back into the club level just below us. 1-1 now. Yeah, this is not a night where you want to go out and have a bunch of 22, 24 pitch innings. These guys are in good enough shape to throw 110 pitches or so, but you spread them out.
Yeah.
So you're not out there.
Great innings.
Yeah. Sogard, you see, he's really turned things around. Sorry, Tom.
I was just going to say he's one of those guys that could hit those soft line drive, that soft line drive in the left field that caused Daniel Robertson some problems with his son.
Yep. Starting
to set right now. It's probably going to be at its worst the next 20-25 minutes.
You see, as opposed to Adrian Beltre positioning himself in the shadows, Daniel Robertson has no shadows out there to work with. Mikolas ready for the 1-1 pitch. And Chris Jimenez is going to go out and talk to the 25-year-old right-hander. A lot of time, and you saw what Chris Jimenez just did. It kind of moved his body and took his left shoulder and pulled away from Mikolas. And that's what, as a catcher, you can kind of see what a pitcher's doing as far as driving his body toward home plate. And if you see him opening that front shoulder too soon, that makes the arm late getting through. And as a result, Mikolas not able to get the ball in the strike zone. He's leaving everything high and away to a left-hander. So catcher will get used to walking out there and say, okay, stay with me, come on at me. Keep that shoulder in there and reach out to my target. And sometimes it doesn't work.
Well, then the pitcher throws over to first to practice at one time before he goes to the plate.
2-1 the count. Now 3-1. That ball just off the outside corner. Sogard, the number 8 hitter, trying to get aboard. Craig Gentry, center fielder, waits to be next. Mikolas now has had a 3-ball count on 3 of the first 8 that he has faced. He's walked 2 of them. Lowry away from first, the 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. And that's going to bring a visit from Andy Hawkins. The acting pitching coach, Mike Maddox, up enjoying the festivities at Cooperstown with the induction of his brother Greg Maddox this afternoon. Mike will be back tomorrow, and in the meantime, Andy Hawkins taking over as the pitching coach, doing all the visits to the mound and pregame preparation, etc. Brad Holman, the AAA pitching coach, handling the bullpen chores. And today, sure most of you have either heard audio clips or seen video of it. Tony La Russa, Bobby Cox, and Joe Torre, the managers that were inducted today, along with Tom Glavine, Frank Thomas, and Greg Maddox.
How about a manager going in with 2 of his pitchers? Bobby Cox with Maddox and Glavine. That's pretty good.
And if Smoltz retired a year earlier, he would have had 3 of them.
Might have had 3 of them.
The patch on everybody's uniform today, the 75th anniversary of the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
Well, Miles has walked 3 out of the last 5 hitters. They haven't hit a ball hard yet against him, but he's his own worst enemy so far with walks. Trying to pitch around him right here.
And Craig Gentry thinks that breaking ball just outside for ball 1. Gentry hitting a .269, no home runs, and 10 RBI. Greg getting the start in center in favor of Coco Crisp. We saw Crisp last night. Gentry out there tonight. Trying to bunt. And he got it on the hand, but.
No, he bunted at it.
Home plate umpire.
Back to home, Craig. That ain't going to work.
Home plate umpire Jim Wolf immediately saying, okay, come on back here. And now Bob Melvin's going to come out and talk to Jim Wolf. But Wolf had the idea. He saw what was going on.
I thought he bunted at it.
Yeah, I did too.
Get a replay and see. Craig obviously didn't think he bunted at it.
Now that is a reviewable play as far as whether the ball hit him or not. I don't know whether it's reviewable whether he bunted it or not. I don't believe it is.
I don't know if he did bunt at it.
Yeah, from that angle it looks different, doesn't it?
It looked like he's bunting now, but the ball comes. He takes the bat back. I don't know. Definitely hit him in the hand, it looked like.
Sure did.
I thought for sure he bunted at it,
too.
but the replay seemed to show that he didn't bunt at it. Craig might have had a little bit of an argument.
Gentry will earn that round that time, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. That's a moot point now. That's the next pitch. Gentry, those numbers would tell you, much more comfortable hitting in Oakland than he has been on the road. Almost 100-point difference.
The thing I'm surprised at is that it didn't hurt his hand any more than it did. It hit by a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, didn't even flinch.
Off the fist. Mikolas going to second. The throw is wide into center field. Up and coming down the line from third is Jed Lowry, and he scores on the errant Mikolas throw. The A's take a 1-0 lead.
Well, the idea is to get one of the lead runners. But in that particular case, on a slowly hit ball, a little bit of question whether you can get it to second. Get the sure out at first. And I'm not sure, but one of the things that might have thrown Miles off was both infielders standing right near the bag like that. He might have been a little bit between being confident throwing it to second base and knowing who to throw it to.
Well, that's why before every pitch with a runner on first or first and second, when there's a double play possibility, the pitcher always turns around and points to either the shortstop or second baseman, says, I've got you on a ball hit back to me.
Yeah.
Every single time. And, you just get used to that as a pitcher. That way there is no indecision. But I agree with you, Tom. That's what it looked like.
It looked like he picked it up, looked, saw both guys, and kind of took a little bit off the throw. Didn't really fire it with confidence. And
so it goes down as a fielder's choice, an error on the throw to Mikolas, allowing the run to score. The top of the order now, John Jason. He takes a strike. One more look at the Mikolas play.
And the other thing that he had going against him, Buzz, it looked like he was stepping toward third, throwing to second, too.
Field the ball like that, you've got to shift your feet, shuffle your feet, just like an infielder making a throw to a base. So that you get yourself lined up, your feet and your body lined up toward your target. And Mikolas didn't do that. He tried to throw flat-footed. And you're right, Tom, when he picked up the ball, his feet were already open to the line towards second.
Looked for a little bit of a sinker to second base. And I guess it still goes back to, if there's any doubt at all, get the sure out, get one out. Sure, you've got men on second and third instead of first and third, but you've still got 2 outs and a chance to get the next hitter and get out of the inning.
Right. Jaso waiting, Miles getting set to throw his 40th pitch of the evening. And instead, it's a little inside move to second, but Sogard not straying from the bag. Jaso, the first pitch he saw tonight, skied to center field. The 1-2 pitch. Little loop around into right center that is falling for a base hit. Sogard around third will score. On around to third goes Craig Gentry. And John Jaso with the RBI base hit. Oakland now leads 2-0.
Well, through 9 hitters, it's still the case. They haven't come close to hitting a ball hard yet. But the 2 walks both come around to score. One on the error. The next one on this little jam shot that Jaso bloops over second base. So you can give up the little bloopers if you don't walk anybody and get away with them. But 2 walks and the error and the blooper have played it a couple of runs.
Now Jaso drives in his 36th run of the year. And runners at the corners. Stephen Vogt, who singled to left in the first, will step in. He's now with 2 hits and a critical error in this inning. Capitalized for a couple of runs. They're looking for more. Vogt takes outside for ball 1. And Oakland, the kind of team that if you give them any kind of an opening like this, the way they're playing, they will put a real crooked number on the board against you as quick as you can blink. Bob Dylan's club has that kind of thing going. And Ranger fans will remember when Ranger teams did that. We made a mistake, they capitalized, and it wasn't for just 1 or 2 runs. Vogt right down the first base line, a fair ball, headed to the corner. Gentry scores. Jaso being waved around third, and now put the stop sign up. Gallego was waving him, and Jaso ran out of gas just as he hit the bag. So it's a double for Stephen Vogt, and the A's lead it 3-0. Gallego forgot who was running there for a second.
Jaso was definitely slowing down as he got to third base. Vogt pulled that right down the line, hooked it right over the bag. JP is not that far off first base to begin with, but that ball just hugged the line and snuck over the bag. And he's doing just what you talked about, Buzz, taking advantage of their opportunities.
And now the Rangers forced to pull the infield all the way in with runners at second and third and one out. Yoenis Cespedes, the hitter. Cespedes struck out in the first, and Mikolas would love to have a repeat right here. 1 ball, no strikes. Almost threw that to the backstop. Gallego might have been the most surprised guy in the ballpark. He was looking out to right field to see how the relay was going, and next thing he knew, that Jason was stopped on third. 1-0 pitch. Now 2-0. Cespedes, one of the big run producers in the middle of the order, and I say one of them because he's followed by Moss and Donaldson, who each have 70-plus RBI. Cespedes 63. 2-0 pitch. Down the left field line, and is headed toward the corner. That's going to score a pair. Into second, a 2-run double. Yoenis Cespedes. It is 5-0 Oakland.
He struck Cespedes out with a slider the first time up, got a couple of strikes and got him to chase one out of the strike zone. But this time he's not ahead in the count, and he hangs that slider right in the middle of the plate. And guys like Cespedes, they make a living off hitting that pitch.
So a 5 spot on the board, still just 1 out, as 6 consecutive A's hitters have reached base. Brandon Moss drew a walk in the first inning. He's up there now with Cespedes at second. And he lines one down the right field line, but that hook's foul. Even though the Rangers have the shift in order with Rosales playing well out into right field. Moss hit that ball so sharply that had it been fair, there would have been extra bases for him. Well, 0-1 down to Moss. Cespedes the lead from second. He's at the bottom of your screen. 0-1 pitch on the inside corner. 0-2. Scott Baker, who we saw in the 9th inning last night, up and throwing here today.
Didn't even pitch the 9th inning last night. He's going to come in the early part of this game.
That was just a little tune-up for him.
Yep.
Mikolas setting for his 30th pitch of the inning. It's fouled out of play down the left side. Still 0-2. Miles Mikolas, boy, you blink a couple times, you make one mistake, and before you can blink the third time, it's trouble with this team. Oakland reminding folks what winners do when you face them and you're playing well. You have to play almost perfect baseball against them to stay with them. It's chop foul.
It's the wrong recipe when you walk the guys at the bottom of the order and then turn it over to the top of the order and let the guys like Cespedes, Moss, Donaldson, and Vogt for that matter. Vogt's a 358 hitter.
Yeah.
Let those guys come up with men on base. Got to keep the guys at the bottom off the base. Certainly, if they get on base, make them hit their way on. Don't walk them.
Nothing into the count as Moss waits. Little looper, that's going to go over to Adrian Beltre, who makes the catch. So Moss, that's a pretty good jam shot. 2 gone, and it'll bring up Josh Donaldson.
That's pretty much the same thing that happened to Jaso, only Jaso was able to hit his a little bit farther. Jaso was the one that blooped that ball into right field for an RBI.
Donaldson grounded into a fielder's choice, his first time to the plate. 243 the average. A's leading 5-0 here in the top of the second inning. 0-1 now the count. Mikolas trying to put a capper on this inning. Right-hander sets a check of second. 0-2 now to Donaldson. With runners in scoring position this year, Donaldson a .327 hitter. Mikolas back on top, peering in for the sign from Chris Jimenez. Now the right-hander, a letter high set. Hard hit ground ball knocked down by Aaron Sebia. He recovers and takes it to the bag, and that'll do it. But the A's score 5 times on 3 hits. There was an error, a couple of walks, and 1 left. After 1.5, Oakland 5, Texas 0. Photo for a chance to have it shown on one of our upcoming broadcasts. That's all thanks to the good folks at AT&T. Simply use hashtag Southwest Fan Photo, and your photo might be selected for one of our upcoming telecasts here on Fox Sports Southwest. Again, thanks to the folks at AT&T for making your participation possible. We appreciate it. Rangers fans would appreciate some runs from the ball club. They find themselves trailing now after an inning and a half. 5-0 to score.
It's a little about a person just laughing like crazy that makes you laugh just watching him laugh.
He does.
Well, Scott Kazmier's been in the dugout for a long time. Maybe he'll be a little bit erratic when he comes out here for the second inning.
Facing JP Arancibia to start things off. And Kazmier throws one right down the middle for strike 1. Arancibia 152 the average, 4 home runs and 13 driven in. Has been a run producer since rejoining the club right after the All-Star break. This is the 10th game that the Rangers have played, and Arancibia has played in all 10 of them. He has driven in 7 runs in those 10 games. He hits a towering fly ball to left. Cespedes to the corner. Wynn's going to knock that down and keep it playable. Cespedes makes the grab. He's out number 1, and that was about 1.5 millimeters from being about 450 feet.
That's one of those that just drives a hitter crazy. You get the good pitch to hit. You know you've got a good swing. You timed it perfectly. just missing. Just good underneath it. JP had that happen on a pitch last night as well.
Yeah.
Oh, so close.
One away. Now the catcher, Chris Jimenez, will step in. First opportunity that Jimenez has had to play in this series. Takes a knee-high strike. 0-1. Just got things going a little bit in the Yankee series. He's reached base in 5 of the last 8 times he's come to the plate. By a hit. He's had a couple of hits and also 3 walks. Kazmir's 1-1 pitch. 2-1. Chris Jimenez making his 23rd start of the year behind the plate. Changeup. 3 balls and a strike. Well, Jimenez trying to get aboard with 1 out here in the Rangers second. Adam Rosales, the second baseman, will follow in the order. Popped in the air down the right side. Wind is pushing it toward the seats. It's back about 3 rows. Trio of A's over there to take a look. Sogard, Moss, and Redding all converging, but they didn't have a ticket. Well, 3-2 now to Jimenez. Payoff pitch coming. Line to center. And playing it on a hop is Craig Gentry. Gentry was very timid about that. It had to be one of those ones hit right at him that he just didn't feel comfortable with the read.
A well hit ball by Jimenez. And Craig decided he wasn't going to be able to make the play without a dive and didn't want to risk the ball getting by him, I guess. Keeps the man on first base with a single.
The 1 on, 1 out. Adam Rosales now, the second baseman, steps in. Or Rosales, you saw in last night's ball game, went 0 for 1 and takes a strike on the outside corner. Had a pinch hit in last night's game. He's had hits in 4 of his last 6 starts. Changeup floats high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kazmir set a check of first base. Rosales hits 1 high in the air to pretty deep left field. Going back is Cespedes. Goodbye. And Rosales racing around the base path. His first home run of the year, and that makes it a 5-2 Oakland lead.
I mentioned that Kazmir has thrown a lot of changeups. What looked like a changeup that Rosales hit. He waited on it. A lot of the changeups that Kazmir has been throwing have been up. And that one was up, and Adam hit it right on out of the ballpark. High changeup out over the plate. A little bit out in front of it, but he waits long enough to get the good part of the bat on the ball. And the Rangers get 2 of those runs back.
Adam Rosales, the first home run against his former team, the Oakland A's. And he got that out of here with a little bit of room to spare back in the second row. Well, Rosales with his first home run at the major league level this year. Leonis Martin tried to bunt his way aboard. Fouled back the first pitch, takes the next one low, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Chopper foul. 1-2. Rosales, a 380-foot home run is the tail of the tape here. Telling Wash just how he did it.
Look at that, we were talking about who's covering second base.
Yeah, I think that was probably more to it. 2-2 pitch, chopped to the right side. And Moss will win that race to the bag. That is out number 2 as Martin grounds out, and Daniel Robertson now will come up. With better than 6 runs of support for the year, the A's have done a great job of giving him those runs to work with. He hasn't needed them very much, but it's made his job a lot easier.
Yeah, he's 11-3 with that great run support. He's given up 1 run or less in 11 of his 20 starts, and 2 earned runs or less in 15 of his 20 starts. So that's some pretty good consistency right there. He's had 1 bad start where he gave up 7 runs in a short outing. Other than that, most of them have been pretty good.
Robertson takes a strike. This is kind of like the win that he had here back in April 29th against the Rangers. Gave him a pretty big lead, a 9-1 lead, as a matter of fact, then. And gave up a couple, but was able to get away with a W. Gentry reading this one and coming on into his left, makes the catch, and that will do it. Adam Rosales, though, with his first home run of the year, a 2-run blast. It gets the Rangers on the board. We'll go to the 3rd. It's now the A's 5 and the Rangers 2. Rangers game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. You can get live look-ins and instant replays, scores, stats, audio, a free MLB.TV game of the day, and a lot more. Download at the App Store, or you can visit TexasRangers.com today. Well, a 5-2 Oakland lead as the A's come to bat here in the 3rd inning. And Mikolas, on the first pitch to Josh Reddick, gives up a very hard single to center. Reddick, who began the 2nd inning by fouling out, starts the 3rd by lacing a single to center field off of Miles Mikolas. That is the 5th hit by the A's so far. 1 on, nobody out for Jed Lowry. Lowry was the one that started that whole mess last inning by walking. He walked with 1 out. Eric Sogard, who follows him, walked. And then the error on Craig Gentry's tapper back to the mound. That really opened the doors for a 5-run inning. Good breaking ball for Mikolas. It is 0-1. Infield, a step or 2 around to the right side. Lowry, of course, the switch hitter, batting left-handed against the right-hander Mikolas, the Adrian Beltre. Good 25 feet off that 3rd baseline. Mikolas driving Reddick back. outfield defensively kind of bunched in the middle. They're getting both lines, trying to cut down both alleys. Alex Rios 90 feet off the line, and Daniel Robertson about 110 feet off the left field line. 0-1 the count. Lowry, of course, handles the bat very well. He's a candidate to move things along if given the opportunity. That's why Mikolas is really paying a lot of attention to Josh Reddick. Pitch high and outside. That evens the count now at 1-1. Lowry in the last 16 ball games has hit .371. He's had multiple hits in half of the 16 games. Things back in order offensively for himself. 1-1 pitch. Fastball inside, and Mikolas now the advantage in the count at a ball and 2 strikes.
Lowry's one of the few hitters that wears the helmet with a flap on both sides. Makes it a little bit easier, though, as a switch hitter. I don't have to switch helmets, just use the same one. Chu uses the same helmet. He's not a switch hitter. Flap on each side. It's much safer on the bases to have a flap on both sides. They hit that
Fly ball, I don't know. Lifted to shallow right. Rosales going out, then drops the ball. Recovers the throw to second for the fourth, and they got him.
There's one for you. Number one, how in the world did he hit that ball in the air? Rosales almost makes a Beltre type catch from last night. Doesn't catch it. Reddick doesn't know exactly what to do. He thinks that he catches it, so he's got to stop to get back so he doesn't get doubled off. How do you hit that ball in there?
I have no idea. Looked like a cricket shot off the one hop.
He just golfed that thing off the end of the bat. I don't think I've seen a ball hit like that before. Beautiful try by Rosales, who actually gets the ball in his glove, bobbles it. Reddick then tries to get to second base, but Adam picks the ball up and guns him down for a routine 4-6 fielder's choice at second base.
I don't know what the big deal is about that. I mean, you see that all the time.
That's one the box score won't tell the whole story on that one.
No kidding. No, there's one out now. And Eric Sogard, the hitter, who walked his first time. One more look at it. Reddick didn't know whether to go back to first, to go to second, jump up and down. He had no clue what was going on.
No, there's nothing Reddick could do.
No.
He just got caught on a play that he just say, hey, I did everything I could.
The next pitch is low. It's 1 ball and 1 strike to Sogard. Goofy things have been happening. Rosales hitting a home run and then having that play ensue almost immediately. And Sogard drives to the center. Plenty of room, though, for Leonis Martin. Out number 2, and Lowry will retrace the steps to first. Greg Gentry coming up, and let's take time here for a Mazda game break with Rick Renner. Rick? All right, Rick, thank you. Angels out there sweeping the Tigers. 3 straight against the guys from Motown. Gentry hit that little tapper right back to the mound, that almost like that. This one got by the mound, though. Elvis drops, picks it up too late, and then throws it away. On to third is Lowry. And safely back to first is Gentry. on the error. Second error of the night for the Rangers. In charge to Elvis Andrus.
And that's a case where the speed may have been one of the factors forcing that misplay. You know that Gentry can fly to first base, so Elvis doesn't have time to really make a routine play. He's got to field it quickly and get rid of it. He just booted it, bounced off the heel of his glove and didn't catch it. Simple play turned into a man on first and third.
That's going to score as 2 errors. Steve Weller, the official scorer, and rightfully so. The error to allow Gentry to get to first, and then the throwing error that allowed Lowry to go from second to third.
Yeah.
A pair of errors on that play. And now runners at the corners with 2 outs. And Jaso, a line drive to right. Here comes Rios now. And it's able to capture that hard hit ball. Side retired, no runs, a hit, 2 errors in the inning, and 2 men are left. After 2.5, Oakland 5, Texas 2. On Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. And by the all-new Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity.
There's our friends Ronnie and Carol Goldman at the ball game. I owe Ronnie an apology. I called him by the wrong name the last time I saw him. They're out here celebrating a very special day in their life.
He said he was going to get back at you. Apparently he hasn't yet, huh? Top of the Ranger order here in the third. Shin-Soo Choo, Elvis Andrus, and Alex Rios to face Scott Kazmir. Choo had an infield single his first time up there. 2-0 pitch coming to him, and it's a little bit high and tight. 3 balls, no strikes. So Choo trying to get aboard to start this Ranger third. Elvis Andrus will be next. Rangers trailing by 3. And there is a strike to the outer edge. Choo now with the average at 245.
Thank you.
Ball 4.
He's kind of jumped out to what looks like a commanding 5-0 lead. Gonzalez hits a home run. Now it's 5-2. Kazmir comes out and walks his first batter with a 5-2 lead. And maybe things turn around a little bit right here. Let's see.
That is only the second time that Kazmir this year has walked the leadoff hitter in an inning.
Wow.
First time was last time out against the Houston Astros.
Well, what did we say before the game? Choo was hitting like 350 against him?
Yeah, 357.
And he's got a base hit in this game against him. And a walk.
Elvis takes strike 1. Andrus fouled out to Brandon Moss, the first baseman, back in the first inning. Time called Kazmir very intent.
Oh boy, watch out. The guy's been on the disabled list every year for the last 6 or 7 years.
Jim Wolf was standing out there. He had walked out from behind home plate, and Kazmir was so intent on looking at Shin-Soo Choo at first base, never even noticed.
No, time was called and plenty of time for him to avoid that.
Rolling inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
There we go.
Numbers we were talking about.
Shin-Soo has been swinging the bat pretty well. 8 for 24 coming into the game, his last 24, and 357 against Scott Kazmir. Tack a little bit onto that because he's 1 for 1 today.
Yep. He's at first base now. Shin-Soo Choo there after the leadoff walk. 1 ball, 1 strike. The count to Andrews. Low and inside, 2-1. We'll see if the Rangers want to run here in the early going. Bottom of the 3rd, down by 3. And Elvis takes that changeup that floats to the inside corner. 2-2. This one does not change his whole philosophy about using that changeup.
He's definitely using that changeup, boy.
Another one, and that's popped up into shallow center field, coming on Craig Gentry. 1 out.
Yeah, I think what it shows, Buzz, is even at the major league level, at any level, if you can sell your changeup and you've got a good changeup, it's a great pitch.
Yeah.
You don't have to throw it every now and then. You throw it a lot. And a lot of the changeups that he's thrown have not been down around the knees or tailing away and a little bit out of the strike zone. A lot of them have been up and right in the middle of the strike zone. But if you have the good delivery and you fool the hitter and he's way out in front of it, it doesn't matter where the pitch is. You're just not going to make solid contact.
Well, here's Alex Rios, who tapped back to the mound his first time up.
You've said that a lot with young kids. That's, you know, you throw your fastball and you develop command of your fastball, and for an off-speed pitch, learn how to throw a changeup.
Yeah. It's, you know, I think that's the fastest way to learn how to pitch, because then you start varying the speed you throw the ball according to how the hitter reacts to you.
Yeah.
You know, the hitter can't catch up with your fastball. Why would you throw anything else?
Mm-hmm.
But if a hitter's on your fastball, now you can throw something that's kind of like a fastball, but it doesn't get there quite as quick. And theoretically, you still should have pretty good command of it. Rolled over, ground ball to short. The second, back to first, and not in time. First base umpire, Will Little, took his time to make that call, and Alex Rios just able to beat out the back end of that double play possibility.
Yeah, close call for Will Little at first base. Looked like he made the right call. Not an easy ball to turn. He's making an attempt. They come close, but not quite.
Yep. So Rios exchanges places with Shin-Soo Choo at first base. 2 outs now for Adrian Beltre. Beltre, a ground ball to short his first time. That foul tip got a pretty big piece of John Jaso. Walking up, looked like he got him on the throwing arm, around the bicep or so. So you want to be a big league catcher. Nope, got him on the wrist. Adrian Beltre playing the concerned opponents. Where they get you? Okay. Can I help you at all? Nope. Butch Rodriguez knows exactly what that feels like. And that's probably one of the things he does not miss about being behind the plate.
Let's take a look at it. No padding right there.
Beltre, a high pop foul. That will twist back and out of play on the first base side. And the count moves to 0-2. A's 5 runs on 5 hits tonight. Rangers 2 runs on 3 hits. Rangers have committed 3 errors while the A's have played error-free baseball. Kazmir set for the 0-2 pitch. Line to right field. That is headed for the corner. It is down and in there. Reddick gets the ball back in. Being held at third is Rios. On an opposite field double by Adrian Beltre. But with that double now, the Rangers will have the tying run coming to the plate in the third inning.
It looked like another high changeup. This time Adrian was not out in front of it. He actually waited on it and drove it down the right field line. Thought for a second that Alex might have a chance to score on this ball, but it rolls right back to Reddick. And Reddick gets rid of it extremely quick and throws a strike into the cutoff man and forced Gary Pettis to hold Rios up at third base. That ball sticks against the wall or kicks away from him a little bit. The Rangers pick up a run. He was way down the line waiting as long as he can to make the call. He wants to wave Alex home. But nice play by Reddick kept that from happening.
Well, second and third now, 2 outs. Arancibia, first ball swinging and rips it foul on the left side. 0-1. Arancibia just got under a pitch from Scott Kazmir his first time. He hit a towering fly ball to fairly deep left field for an out.
Yeah, I'm Kazmir. I'm going to be careful about throwing that change up there. And Sibby, he's right on it right now. Hasn't really connected yet, but haven't really been fooled by it either.
0-1 pitch. He's fouled down, and the count moves to 0-2. And so far, Kazmir hasn't been able to find, I don't think, a pitch that he can consistently put hitters away with. He gets him 2 strikes, and it seems like he has more difficulty there than any other time tonight. Ahead of Arancibia by that 0-2 count. Rios at third, Beltre at second, Kazmir ready. Fastball swung on and missed. He came back with a heater. Gets the strikeout. That's just his first of the night. Rangers are gone, no runs, a hit. 2 men are left after 3, 5-2 Oakland. '17th, Rangers take on the Angels in a 2:05 game. In the first 10,000 kids 13 and under receive a Texas Rangers growth chart. That's courtesy of Medical Center Arlington Fitness and All-Stars program. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS if you prefer. Nice crowd on hand here tonight. Looks to be in the mid-30 range. All various stages of undress for the younger ones. I don't blame them. It's a warm night, still up in the upper 90s as we play here in the 4th inning.
He's having a ball. Has no idea what's going on in the ball game, but
Stephen Vogt set to lead things off in the 4th inning for Oakland. Vogt is 2 for 2 tonight. And the first pitch from Mikolas is high and outside for ball 1. Vogt now a 367 average. Single, a double, an RBI. He has scored a run tonight. Driven in 22 for the season. The pitch high and tight. 2 balls, no strikes. Well, the Rangers the last couple of innings, both the second and third, have had to get the bullpen up. Mikolas looks to be struggling in a similar fashion here to start the 4th inning. 66th pitch of the night for Mikolas. There's a strike on the outside corner. Vogt back in there, hitting out of a slightly open stance, as you can see. 5 out of 10 in this series. Mikolas back to him. Foul ball evens the count. Mikolas back on top of the hill. New baseball with which to work. Right-hander from the set. Deals. And he got inside on Vogt. A hop fly to right field. Easy play for Alex Rios. The 1 gone. Yeah, throughout this series, the pitchers have had the best luck when they've been able to run that fastball in on left-handed hitters for the A's. Trick is to be able to get it in there if you're going to try to throw it in there. Mikolas did that very well to Vogt, and now you'll face Yoenis Cespedes. Cespedes picked on a hanging slider his last time up, had a 2-run double. 65 RBI now for the all-star left fielder. One for 2. Struck out his first time up. 1 ball, no strikes.
I like the stat that the A's put in their media notes every day on Cespedes. In his career with the A's, when he's in the lineup, they win at a .637 clip. When he's not in the lineup, they win at a .389 clip. Pretty dramatic difference.
Yeah.
Not sure exactly what goes into that, but I think at the very least you have to say he's an important person in their lineup.
Well, no doubt, him hitting in the middle, being a run producer, and they could probably on this year's club get away with not having him in as often, and maybe not suffer much because the years that Donaldson and Moss and Vogt are having. Sharply hit ground ball, flagged down by Beltre. Nice play by the Ranger third sack.
Well, he's one of those guys that I think even when he's not swinging the bat, and it's only a .254 hitter, but he has that kind of presence. You like having him in the lineup. Maybe it takes a little bit of the pressure off the other guys in the lineup. Who knows? But he's definitely a big man in their lineup. Nice play by Adrian. Looks simple when you watch it from that angle in slow motion, but that ball was hit fairly hard. There it is in real life. Takes a little bit of a hop, but for him it's no problem. It's not the easiest hop in the world to play.
No, 2 outs here in the 4th. Mikolas with a little help from Adrian Beltre and friends. And for a 1-2-3 inning, he has not had one of those this evening. Here's Brandon Moss. The off-speed breaking ball dips in for strike 1. Moss 0 for 1 with a walk. Mikolas back to the plate. 0-2. Miles turning it around very much the same way we saw in New York. And, Yankees had Mikolas on the ropes in that 5th inning in New York, the post-ball game, and got the double play from Derek Jeter, and all of a sudden it was like somebody flipped the switch. He went out and was just outstanding. Moss able to just get a piece of that pitch. Still 0-2. Mikolas had a 10-pitch third inning. He's trying to get the A's in order on very few pitches here. Jimenez gets the sign down. He wants that fastball up someplace. It's right on the fist.
He got it in where you're talking about, Buzz.
Michael's going to the bag himself for the unassisted putout, and that is the first 1-2-3 inning for Miles Mikolas. He's gone after 3.5. It's the A's 5. Cold Hard Fact brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Fedora hats, first worn in 1891. The style's been worn by King Edward, Al Capone, Indiana Jones, Bear Bryant, Tom Landry, and Michael Jackson, just to name a few. Now that is a cold hard fact for you. Good looking Fedora hats. Appreciate the folks from Coca-Cola presenting that Fedora hat to everybody tonight. 15,000 of them given away. Yeah, that's a cowboy fedora. How's that? 1-0 pitch to Chris Jimenez is high and outside. Jimenez leading off the Ranger fourth. Chris had a base hit to center. That was right in front of Adam Rosales' two-run home run. Broken bat looper out towards short.
Wow, the ball's being hit off the handle today.
Wow. That got way up inside the kitchen of Chris Jimenez. So one gone, and here's the home run man, Adam Rosales.
The ball's got pine tar on it.
It hit a little bit softer, it might have stuck to the bat. Rosales takes a breaking ball for strike one. Adam launched a 380-foot home run to left field with Jimenez aboard in the second inning. His first major league home run this year. Kazmir back to him. That evens the count. It's 1-1. Came back with the fastball and threw it by Rosales. All right, Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery, and yeah, the ball got out in a freaky fast fashion. But check out Adam Rosales getting around the base. This is the fastest home run trot in baseball. That's not a home run trot. That's a home run sprint.
That's what he's doing, an inside the park home run.
Rosales said he grew up in Chicago, and one of his all-time favorites in Chicago did that. I've forgotten who it was that he said ran around the bases like that on home runs. He said, I'm going to adopt that. He did. Another looper out towards second. And right there is Eric Sogard. He's out number 2. Martin Perez right out at the ballpark. Good to see him. So saw Matt Harrison out in the clubhouse this afternoon. The walking wounded coming out, supporting the ball club. 2 gone. Leonis Martin, who grounded out to first, was after the first pitch, hits it well to right field. Reddick going back, but has a play. Steps onto the warning track and makes the catch. And Scott Kazmir needs only 8 pitches to send the Rangers down in order. We have finished 4. It's the A's 5 and the Rangers 2.
For the game, the Fox Sports Fan Express rolling in from downtown Dallas on board. 45 members of the Cafe Momentum having a big time at the ballpark tonight. Chad, what's Cafe Momentum all about?
Cafe Momentum is a restaurant that serves as a paid post-release internship for kids coming out of jail. Or as we like to say, we take kids out of jail and teach them to play with knives and fire.
Oh, that sounds like a good program. All right. Well, good to have you here at the ballpark. Put the knives and fire back in their pocket. We appreciate you. Great job. Good to have you guys out here. Enjoy the rest of the game, all right? There we go.
Glad to be here. Thanks, Jim.
All right, Noxie.
Got to have a sense of humor, I guess.
I guess so.
Better. Good for them. Good program.
Josh Donaldson leading off for the A's, and Mikolas misses outside. And joining us for the 5th inning, as always, Mark McElroy, co-host of Rangers Live before and after the ball games. Mac, tough way to start off getting down 5 to a guy like Scott Kazmir a day like this.
It's very tough getting down to Kazmir. 1 or 2 runs, let alone 5.
Donaldson with the leadoff single here in the 5th inning. Now, we talk about the heat, the effect the heat has, and this really has been the first series at home where it's been a typical summer heat here at Globe Life Park. How much effect can you see that have on a pitcher, whether it's on your own ball club or the opposing ball club as the game goes on? Do you know when that pitcher is up against that heat wall?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can tell. You can look at him because especially a guy that you've been with for a while. You've seen him go through, 5, 10, 15 starts or whatever it is. You know what he looks like when he gets tired.
Pretty deep center field. Leonis Martin, though, got a good break on the ball. Reddick, a long fly out. 1 gone. Donaldson back to first.
The one I always think of, Buzz, when it was 100 degrees after about 95 pitches was Kevin Millwood.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he was tired or not, but he was bright red in the face.
He was about the same shade as the hat that Miles Mikolas has on. Yeah, and Kevin was that way from about the first inning on.
Yeah, it's just the way he looked.
But yeah, he was, boy, beet red. And I would think, pitchers, you do a lot to condition yourself, and if you're not used to being in the heat, it's got to be a pretty tough adjustment coming in here for 3 days, like the visiting teams do, and trying to acclimate yourself to 100 plus.
Yeah, coming in as a visitor for many years before I played here, we always had to make sure, okay, we were prepared. Hydrate yourself, make sure you got your rest, because those 3 days are tougher than the guys that are here for 81 games.
Right.
You come in 2 or 3 times a year. Being in the West, we were here, 2 or 3 times a year. So you really have to take care of yourself and be prepared for it, because those 3, wow.
Safe and pulled Aaron Sebia off the bag, and he's immediately calling for Ron Washington to come out and take a look at that.
I want to know how Miles Mikolas got his glove on that ball.
I have no idea.
That was behind his head.
It was. It was. I don't know how he ever reached back and stopped that ball.
They work on that.
Man.
PFP in there?
I don't think that's something you can work on.
Seen some weird things tonight. Number one, how Lowry ever hit that little pop-up. But
oh, okay.
Wow.
Well, he was going at his forehead. That's
sure
how he got his glove up.
That's how he did it.
Boy, that was. And the call at first is safe, and Ron Washington out there. We'll take a look here and see if Aaron Sebia got the tag on him. Hard to tell from that angle. Aaron Sebia thought he did immediately, signaling for Ron Washington. There's the better
angle.
There it is.
Yep. He got him.
Sure did. Not only did he get the tag on him, his foot was on the bag when he caught the ball. Right there. I guess that should be a double play, huh? Not going to work that way?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Nice try, though.
No, we tried that. And the crowd getting a look on the big screen at that, and hooked up to replay command center as Will Whittle, the first base umpire, and Ryan Honora, the crew chief, and Ryan Honora says, yep, we'll overturn that one. The out recorded at first base. So Donaldson now at second with 1 out. Or 2 outs, excuse me. And Jed Lowry is out at first.
There you go from thinking you had a hit twice. Number one off the bat, you think it's up the middle. Then you feel you got a call at first base, and only to be overturned by the replay.
He is not a happy camper.
No, I think he knows he's out because of the tag. He just can't believe the pitcher knocked that line shot down.
Well, 2 away now, and Eric Sogard will come up. That replay, by the way, the delay was only 1 minute and 9 seconds. That's more than acceptable. Sogard, a walk and a fly ball to center. He has scored a run, takes inside for ball 1. Well, they may call third the hot corner, but tell you what, it gets a little warm out there on that mound, too.
It looked like he had to reach behind his head to knock that ball down. Sometimes the pitcher's able to get the glove on it because the ball just hits right where his glove is ending up, but he actually moved his glove to be able to stop that.
Over the leap of Aaron Sebia into right field. Around third is Donaldson. He will score. Going for 2 and in with a head-first dive, Eric Sogard, and that increases the lead for Oakland. It's now 6-2. Sogard got a pretty tough pitch to handle, and he got enough wood on it in the right spot to get the job done.
Sogard had a double in last night's game. He shot one down the left field line. This one he shoots down the right field line. Or loops down the right field line, I should say.
Well, Oakland now back to a 4-run advantage. Sogard drives in his 11th run of the year. And Craig Gentry up for his third time bat. Second time he reached on an error. Actually, the play was a double error on Elvis Andrus. Elvis charged with an error to allow Gentry to reach first base. Also charged with an error to allow Jed Lowry to go from second to third. 0-1 the count. Gentry waiting. Mikolas back to it. Knee-high strike. 0-2. A's with runners in scoring position, 269 this year. That's about 15 points higher than their overall season average. So you would figure that they are producing runs at a pretty good clip. They are the best in the major leagues at that. Pitch inside. 515 runs coming into play. That was the most in the major leagues. And add 6 more, so 521 is Ryan Fearabin, left-hander, loosening in the Ranger bullpen.
You know what makes this team so good, offensively anyway, is when they get a mistake, they typically just don't miss it. I mean, every pitcher is going to make mistakes, and, you know, obviously the good pitchers that have good games make fewer mistakes. And it just seems as though whenever the Rangers pitchers make a mistake to this A's club, they don't miss it. It's a single somewhere, a double down the line, a ball off the hands, it's a base hit, it just falls in somewhere.
A great example of that, Mac, was the ball that Cespedes hit in the second inning. He struck him out the first time on a slider out of the strike zone, then hung one in the middle of the plate and ripped it down the left field line for a 2-run double.
Yeah, and they can put runs on the board in bunches on you in a hurry. 2-2 the count. Mikolas, a couple of checks of second. You couldn't get Gentry to offer it that slider down and away. The count has gone full. If Gentry is able to extend this inning, John Jaso, the catcher and leadoff hitter, is next, and maybe the last hitter for Miles Mikolas tonight. You got Jaso and Vogt back to back, both left-handers, and you got Fearabin loose in the Ranger pen. 87th pitch of the night for Mikolas coming up. Right-hander sets. Now the payoff pitch. Try it again. Mikolas, inning by inning, and you see the 34 that was put up in that second inning. Since then, he's been pretty doggone good. 10, 12, 12. Not quite out of this fifth inning yet, but with one strike away, he has a chance to. Chris Jimenez going through the signs and finally shaking his head, saying, okay, I know what you want. And just didn't put her down. He said, okay, let's go. And Mike was shaking off. Now Jimenez is going to go out and talk to him. Jimenez maybe not buying what Mikolas was selling, but trying to pump him up, make him think he did anyway. A 3-2 with 2 outs. Gentry the hitter. Sogard the runner at second base. Mikolas ready. Outside, Gentry taking it, ball 4.
Oh, right off, pretty good pitch.
Well, the walk to the number 9 man, Craig Gentry, that puts runners at first and second, and that is going to do it for Miles Mikolas tonight. So the walk to the number 9 man, and with 2 left-handers coming up, Ron Washington wants the left-hander Fearabin to come in from the Ranger bullpen. So we're going to be a break in the action here. The A's have increased their lead. It's now 6-2 Oakland. We'll take a timeout. We're back after this on Fox Sports Southwest. At your Robinson Chirinos on Wednesday at the Dallas location of Whataburgers on East Northwest Highway. Don't miss this chance to win great prizes and to meet one of your favorite Rangers. Robinson Chirinos at Whataburger. Well, a pitching change, bringing Ryan Fearabin, the left-hander, in for Miles Mikolas. There are the numbers for Fearabin.
6th game for Ryan. Pitched 5 innings, given up some hits. Opponents are hitting .409 against him. He's got a chance to face a couple of lefties right here. John Jaso, who doesn't face many lefties. Stephen Vogt, the next hitter.
A first and second with 2 outs. A's have punched across a run here in the 5th inning. Eric Sogard's RBI double brought Josh Donaldson home. Sogard now at second, trailed by Gentry at first. Fearabin's first pitch is high and tight for ball 1. Jaso, an RBI single in the second. He also scored in that inning. That was the 5-run second for the A's. 285 average for Jaso. Gives this one to right field. Going back, Rios still going back. It's over his head and off the wall. Gentry being waved around third. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's late. 2-run score on the double from John Jaso. It is now an 8-2 Oakland lead.
That's only the 4th hit that Jaso has had this year against left-handed pitching. He doesn't face many lefties. Coming into the game, he was only 3 for 21. They've got a big lead, and Jaso's been hot the last 10 days, so no pinch hitter. He gets a fastball right near the middle of the plate. It's a pretty good swing on it. Knocks it right over Alex's head in right field.
Well, that came pretty close to going out. About 3/4 of the way up the wall. Here's Vogt. Fearabin misses high for ball 1. So the book on Miles Mikolas has closed for the evening. 4 2/3 innings. 7 hits, 8 runs, 7 of them earned, 4 walks and a strikeout.
You love to hit those doubles, Mac, when you got someone like Gentry on first base. Pick up that extra RBI.
That's like hitting a single. With Gentry at first, he's in scoring position. There's no question. If the ball gets close to an alley, you better believe he's coming around third. I like watching him run. Yeah. Unfortunately for the A's now, but when he was here, I really liked watching him run.
And Vogt skies one to deep center field. Going back, Leonis Martin has time to get there, makes the catch, and that'll do it. The A's add on 3. They had 3 hits and strand one. Halfway through the ball game, it's Oakland 8 and Texas 2. in the second and 3 in the 5th inning. So the Rangers have their work cut out for them, as Daniel Robertson will start things off here in the Ranger 5th inning. A warm crowd on hand here tonight, and it has been all A's so far, save the home run by Adam Rosales for the Rangers. Daniel Robertson 0 for 1 against Kazmir this evening. He flied to center field back in the 2nd inning. Robertson a .272 average. Kazmir started into the windup and thought better of it. Now the left-hander deals. 1 ball, no strikes. Kazmir to the wind. Floats a changeup over. Oh, he loves that changeup.
And throws it for strikes.
Yeah. Leading 8-2, you think he might back off the changeup a little bit, but he's not going to change.
He's staying with his game plan.
Yeah.
It's been working so far. Why change now?
Well, back when he first came up and he was with Tampa Bay, if I remember right, he was more of a fastball, hard slider. He used to throw that slider down and into the right-hand hitters. Today, it's pretty much fastball changeup.
And Daniel Robertson goes the other way with a leadoff single.
Daniel's been swinging the bat well. Getting a chance to play against left-handed pitchers.
Robertson getting a base hit against the team against whom he had his first major league hit back in April 30th of this year against the A's.
Now, watch this. I love seeing this. Robertson gets in. He's playing this game hard. He loves to play this game, but you just don't see a lot of this anymore. Base hit to right. Look at it. Look how he comes around first base. If that right fielder so much as bobbles the ball, he'll be standing on second base.
A double play ground ball to Sogard. On to Lowry, a 4-6-3, and takes care of the leadoff single by Robertson. Second double play of the night, turned by the Athletics.
Hey, you know, Mac, when you only bat 4 times a game, there's no reason why you can't do that every time you get a base hit.
None whatsoever.
Oh, 2 outs, bases empty, and Elvis Andrus now will come up. I think I said that was the second double play. That's the first double play turned by the A's tonight. Elvis 0 for 2. He is fouled out. Fly to center. Kazmir. An assortment of off-speed pitches. Ahead of the count now, 0-2. Elvis with the average at 262. Kazmir working a little more quickly now, and a speed pitch fouled away.
Now, Buzz, when a pitcher's working this quickly, what is that saying about the battery? That they're on the same page? The catcher pretty much just throws down 1 sign, maybe 2, and he just goes with it?
Yeah. There's. And Elvis is going to poke one into left field for the base hit. Yeah, it doesn't take much time. You know, a catcher gets to know a pitcher, gets to know his tendencies, and a pitcher can get into that rhythm. And the last thing a catcher wants to do is slow his pitcher down by throwing out a bunch of signs and getting too cute with what they're trying to do. You'll go with Kazmir, you're basically throwing fastball changeup. And it really doesn't matter which one, as long as you don't go against what he's been doing all night. That looked like a little breaking ball, but you know, if you go away from what his MO has been that evening, then you're asking for a delay and getting him out of his rhythm. Up the middle, and that is into center field. Rios with a base hit. Elvis stopping at second, so back-to-back 2-out singles. And it brings up Adrian Beltre with 2 on, 2 out. Let's go to Rick Renner very quickly, a Mazda game break. Rick? All right, Rick, thank you. Here's the A's leading 8-2. Rangers, though, making some noise. They've got Adrian Beltre up there with 2 on and 2 out. 1 ball, no strikes. Beltre doubled into the right field corner his last time up. Rangers leading home run and RBI man as Elvis Andrus at second base. Alex Rios at first. Down the right field line, that is going to slice and go back into the seats about 2 rows. And Beltre asking Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire, was that a strike? Wolf said once you swung at it, it was.
I don't think it really matters to Beltre very much whether it's a strike or not. He hits a lot of pitches out of the strike zone.
Back-to-back 2-out hits. Andrus trailed by Rios. Now there's a hack you won't see Beltre have very often. Looked like he was fooled by the kind of pitch that he might not have seen tonight. Cutter in there?
Yeah, it looked like a cutter coming in.
It's written all over his face. I didn't expect that.
Got me. That pitch down and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Scott Kazmir about ready to throw his 87th pitch of the night. Left-hander right now working without a net. There's nobody in the A's bullpen throwing. The 2-2. Change up low, and Adrian dancing all over the place took it. The count is now full, so with 2 outs, both Andrus and Rios will be off and moving with the next Kazmir offering. Beltre trying to extend this 5th inning. J.P. Arancibia, the Ranger first baseman, is next. Kazmir ready, a check of the runners. They're on the move, the payoff pitch. Check swing, did he go around? No, he did not. That makes it a bases loaded 2-out situation for J.P. Arancibia. And Kurt Young, the pitching coach, going to head out to the mound. And that's the second walk given by Scott Kazmir tonight.
Kazmir doesn't walk many. He's walked 2 or less in 16 of his 20 starts. He's had great command this year.
Well, Kurt Young, a very brief message, and just to make sure everybody was on the same page, talking about how they want to work to Arancibia. JP tonight 0 for 2, a fly ball and a strikeout. Chance to get the Rangers right back in this ball game if he can deliver here. A couple of career grand slams for Arancibia. And Kazmir to the plate. Eric O'Flaherty, left-hander, loosening in a pretty big hurry out there in the bullpen. Kazmir says yes and sets. 1 ball and 1 strike. JP hitting at 149 as he faces Kazmir. Andrus, Rios, and Beltre, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. Pop foul. It is back into the seats. 1-2. We saw on the just completed road trip, Arancibia doesn't mind hitting with a couple of strikes on him. He hit a couple of home runs. And I think both of them were on breaking balls, if I remember right, when he was down in the count. He's down in the count here at 1 ball and 2 strikes. And now asks for time, backs out. Don Jaso saying, okay, we'll go through the signs one more time. Kazmir, the left-hander, is ready. The 1-2 pitch. And try it again.
think he wants that one back.
He's had a number of these last couple of days. Pretty good pitches to hit, good swings, but came up a little empty with a foul ball.
The Chevy pitch tracker showing that number 4 right up there, just below letter high, pretty much in the middle of the plate. We will try the 1-2 pitch again. Got him swinging. Well, Kazmir gets the strikeout, leaves the bases loaded. No runs, 3 hits, and 3 left. Mac, thanks for joining us. We will see you after the ball game. All right, Rangers trailing 8-2 to Oakland. On Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. The Ford Summer Spectacular Sales Event, now playing at a Ford dealer near you. The crowd here at Globe Life Park had some things to cheer for in the bottom of the 5th inning. Rangers, though, left the bases loaded in their attempt to get back in this ball game. So it's an 8-2 Oakland lead as the Athletics come to bat here in the top of the 6th. The nice white Ranger fedoras everywhere in the ballpark. That is a good look.
The thing I like about it, it looks good on men, looks good on women, looks good on kids, you name it. They all look good in it. Well, that's a different way of wearing it, but it doesn't look bad.
Ryan Farabeen dealing to Yoenis Cespedes. Takes a strike. Cespedes getting a chuckle out of something that Chris Jimenez had said. Jimenez, of course, was with Oakland for a little while. Cespedes takes strike 2. Cespedes tonight 1 for 3. Had a big 2-run double in that 5-run second inning. So he has upped his RBI total now to 65. That for Cespedes, closing in on his RBI total last year. He had 80 in 135 games last year for the A's. Farabeen back to the plate. And a line drive left center field. That's going to settle in for a base hit. Martin gets the ball back in. Cespedes with his second hit of the night. A leadoff single here in the 6th, and we'll bring up Brandon Moss. And let's go over and check in with Jim Knox again. Jim.
All right, Buzz and Tom, real quick, we have a special event going on here in the stands. The Kirkland family reunion. They come from all over. Jamie, you guys been having a good time?
Yes, a great time. We wouldn't spend it any other way except at the ballpark. We've got 3 generations here. We love our Texas Rangers.
All right, now in a family, there's always one of those crazy uncles. Do you have anyone with you?
Definitely, Uncle Perry.
Uncle Perry right here. It looks like he's smiling. Got some up his sleeve right there. All right, Uncle Perry. Well, you guys have a good time. Life is what?
Life is good, and we love the Rangers.
There we go. All right, Uncle Perry. Good to have you guys out here. Buzz.
All right, Doxy.
Looks like Uncle Perry's pretty happy to be that crazy uncle.
Careful, he might give you a hot foot down there.
That's a great way to have a family reunion out at the ballpark.
Brandon Moss trying to climb the ladder against Ryan Fearbin and couldn't get up that high. It's 0-2. Yeah, great play. Boy, the fan experience out here is so good at Globe Life Park, and not surprised to see a lot of families celebrating time together out here. 0-2 pitch. Now a ball and 2 strikes. Brandon Moss 0 for 2 tonight officially. His walk also popped out and grounded right back to the mound. Fearbin sets.
That came right down and got him in the foot. Moss has been having a tough time. Had a little jam shot, a little blooper to third. And a little dribbler back to the pitcher. That one hit him off the handle and then looked like hit him right in the kneecap.
Right above that shin protector.
Oh boy, right in the side of the knee. That's a nasty place to get hit by a ball.
Brandon Moss will agree with you.
He's got that protector down there because he hits a lot of balls down there. That one hit him higher than the protection could help him with.
Boy, that is just ball on no skin, just bone. No padding whatsoever. Moss trying to wait for the pain to go away, and it'll be probably November, maybe late October. Stop hurting. Bob Melvin, the skipper, out there along with the A's trainer. Not much they can do though for him. He used to come out and spray that ethyl chloride freezing compound on you. I think they finally figured out that really didn't do any good.
All that did is it hurt more than the bruise that you had and made you forget about it.
That's right.
Yeah, I think once the players started using that for a blowtorch in the dugout, it kind of went its own way. Joe Levito used to do that. It came in a little tube, and you turned it, and it kind of blew out freezing cold air, I guess. Joe Levito turned that thing out and put a match to it and had like a blowtorch in the dugout. And Bill Ziegler said, I think I'm gonna stop using that. Let you guys suffer out there by yourselves. There's another one off the hands. That's 3 of them. That's a bad at bat.
Yeah.
I don't think Brandon's going to be real happy after that at bat.
Sussman is down to second. Now, at least he can run back though, and kind of not limping too much.
Well, we've seen Brandon Moss hit some ropes against the Rangers. This hasn't been one of those days for him, but he's had a lot of great days against the Rangers, having a great season as well.
A 1 out, and Josh Donaldson now will come up. I talked about the ethyl chloride. I can remember down here, I don't know what it was, but all the crickets, used to come out to the old ballpark. The guys that sit there use that ethyl chloride to freeze them. Poor crickets, but that was what guys got themselves through ball games doing.
Boy, we used to have years where those crickets, there'd be thousands of them down there. Davey Nelson, our second baseman, used to be scared to death of crickets. And about 2 or 3 times a year, someone would take his glove when he was up to bat and stuff the fingers with crickets so that when he went back out on the field, put his hand in his glove, there was crickets in it. He'd make someone else take the crickets out before he put the glove on.
Fearbin misses low. It's 2-1.
You like to say that every minute of every baseball game is spent bearing down and concentrating, but when you play 162 of them over 6 months, every now and then you have to have a few diversions, and sometimes those are the kind of things you divert to, I guess.
It's on the outside corner. Yeah, and then you got guys like us, the starting pitchers, who won't work but once every 4 days. Then so we're always doing something.
You have plenty of time to create those kind of things.
We lead the extra men astray.
I saw Derek Holland had some things to say about what they do out in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Don't think we need to go into that, but
this one's popped up. Shallow center field going out. Elvis Andrews making the call on the catch. That was out number 2.
I have to say, when I read the things that Derek mentioned that the bullpen guys do, that was new. I had never heard those type things going on out in the bullpen.
No, I hadn't either. I'm not really happy I did hear about it.
I could mention a few things that Duke Sims used to do down in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Along those same lines. I'm not going to, though.
No, Duke was a little bit different. Here's Josh Reddick. He was 1 for 3 tonight. Had a 3rd inning single. Other than that, is popped out and flied out. Takes a strike from Firabin. Reddick at 237 with the average. A's 8 runs on 9 hits tonight. The Rangers 2 runs on 7 hits. Pulled into the hole, a base hit. Cespedes coming around third. The throw to the plate is cut off as Cespedes scores the RBI single for Reddick. It's now a 9-2 Oakland lead. Well, both hits, both run-scoring hits that Ryan Firabin has given up tonight have come to left-handers. Reddick and previously was John Jaso. Frustrating for the left-hander not to be able to get the left-handers out in run-scoring situations.
Yeah, pretty much for a left-handed reliever, that's one thing that you have to show your manager, that you can get left-hand hitters out, because many times the left-handed reliever is more of a specialist, although Wash doesn't like to call his relievers specialists. He wants relievers that can pitch an inning or an inning 2/3 if he wants to, and get left-hand hitters and right-hand hitters out. But if you're a left-hand reliever, I think most managers feel most comfortable that you're pretty confident and pretty successful against left-hand hitters.
Lowry is 0 for 2. And he turns around to bat from the right side against the left-hander Firabin. Lowry walked and scored in that 5-run second. Other than that, he has reached on a fielder's choice. And then on an appeal, or I should say on a replay situation, a challenge, was initially ruled safe at first. And the call was overturned on challenge. It was out. Ahead of the count here, 2 balls, no strikes. Ryan Firabin, who took over for Miles Mikolas in the 5th inning, trying to get the last out here in the 6th. This is low. It's 3-0. Lowry, the 7th place hitter in the Oakland lineup, to be followed by the 2nd baseman Eric Sogard. And given the green light on 3-0, Lowry hits one right up the chute. And Adrian Beltre waits for it to come down, makes the catch, and that will do it. He's add on another run on 2 hits. They strand 1 after 5.5. It's now Oakland 9 and Texas. It's time for the Sonic Slam Inning, brought to you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot is worth $1,100 and dinner for two at Sonic Drive-In. Tonight, the Rangers are hitting for Benny McMullen from Fort Worth. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, Benny McMullen from Fort Worth will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Well, the dot race, it's been this kind of a night all the way around Globe Life Park. The home crew trailing 9-2. The Dots, nobody survived the crash.
The Fedoras did. The Fedoras didn't even fall off the dot.
Chuck Morgan, the author of the dot races. Eric O'Flaherty, left-hander coming out of the bullpen, taking over for the A's here in the 6th inning. Facing Chris Jimenez to start things off. O'Flaherty misses down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. What are the numbers for O'Flaherty? Jimenez, 1 for 2, a single and a run scored. Pops one foul. That'll be over the Ranger dugout, back about 5 rows. So Kazmir worked the first 5 innings tonight. Gave up 7 hits, both runs. They were earned. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, it probably won't go down as a gem for Scott Kazmir. He's had 21 starts, and most of them have been gems. But again, the A's scored a lot of runs for him. Man, this might be Jam City tonight for both teams. I've never seen so many balls hit off the handle.
You get some peanut butter and bread out here
Look
shortly.
At that.
Wow. There's Kazmir.
The A's, I think, are being fairly careful with Kazmir. He averages 95 pitches per start. Fairly low number. And generally pitches 6, occasionally 7 innings. Today it was 5, and you mentioned earlier, Buzz, that the A's score over 6 runs a game when he pitches, and today is obviously better than that.
1 out. Here's Adam Rosales. And Adam takes a knee-high strike. Rosales 1 for 2, the 2-run home run. Gave the Rangers some life back in the 2nd inning. It followed the 5-run outburst for Oakland in the top half. And for a minute there, the Rangers consider themselves back into the ball game. But Oakland, 2 innings later, put a 3 on the board, then another run in the 6th inning.
We're talking about left-handed relievers and getting left-hand hitters out. O'Flaherty has been able to do that since 2011. Lefties are 32 for 189 against him. That's a 169 opponent's batting average.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Rosales. Hitting. Boy, that got Adam right. It sounded like on the knee.
That didn't miss any part of his knee right there. You could hear that from up here.
Well, that pitch started in and kept boring its way right into his left knee. Watching Kevin Harmon out there. Just below it, huh? Ooh.
You could hear that thing.
Like they say, that's going to leave a mark. Gonzalez trying to make sure he's going to be able to stand up on it.
Yeah, it's not the same part that Brandon Moss got hit. It hurts just as much, though. Kind of the other side of his knee. Moss was able to stay in the game at first base after he fouled one off his knee.
Kevin Harmon making sure that there's not a lot of major damage in there. There's damage. Anytime you get hit right there by a ball, it's going to hurt. There's going to be some immediate bruising. Adams going to stay in the ball game. He's at first now with 1 out, and Leonis Martin will be next. Those 2 guys have a lot in common. Both getting their knees worn out in this game. Moss and Rosales kind of commiserating with each other. Leonis Martin 0 for 2, a ground out and a fly out. Takes that breaking ball to the outside corner for strike 1. Martin now at 264 with the average. This is a little bit of an offensive downturn. Pulls this one. Flagged down by Sogard to second. Back to first, not in time. But what a play by Eric Sogard.
He would have turned the double play on a lot of hitters, but Martin gets down the line very well. That would have been some kind of double play if he turned that. It looked like he might be able to get to it, but it also looked like it was going to take a bad hop on him. It was hit fairly hard. It looked like it was going to be a tough ball for him to catch, but he not only catches it, he gets it to shortstop quickly. And if it wasn't Martin running, they might have turned a double play on someone else.
Pretty fancy glove work by Eric Sogard. So 2 outs. Martin now at first base. And here's Daniel Robertson, who singled his last time to the plate. He's 1 for 2 and takes strike 1. Daniel now the average of 280. Chops that pitch foul down on the count very quickly. And no balls and 2 strikes. Robertson, you go back over a pretty good stretch of ball games. 20 games. He's hitting better than .333. He's brought his average up from 154 to his present 280. Check swing. Did he go? He did not. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Shot from right behind home plate at the upper reaches of the lower level. RF camera roaming around the Globe Life Park. O'Flaherty peering in for the side, has one he wants. And a fly ball to right. Reddick going back, the ball carrying pretty well, but Reddick able to haul it in, and that'll do it. The Rangers strand a runner, their 7th of the night. We're going to the 7th inning at Globe Life Park. It's the A's 9 and the Rangers. Nine to 2, the A's on top. 9 runs, 10 hits for Oakland. They're 1, 2, and 3 hitters. That's Jaso, Vogt, and Cespedes. Combined to go 6 for 12. 3 runs, 6 RBI. Meanwhile, the lone bright spot for the Rangers offensively, Adam Rosales, a 2-run home run. His first of the year. That was back in the 2nd inning. He hobbled a little bit after being hit by a pitch from Eric O'Flaherty last inning. But he's back out there again. And Ryan Feierabend, the left-hander, is back out to start his 2nd full inning of work. He will face Eric Sogard, Greg Gentry, and John Jaso. I understand the temperature. He must have that cold front go through. It's down to 96 now. So get my jacket out.
It's a little chilly up here.
Yeah. breaking ball from Fearbend. It is in for a strike. Sogard 1 for 2 with an RBI double. Also walked and scored. Goes after the next pitch and pops it up. Going out Elvis. He is calling off Daniel Robertson. Elvis makes the grab. 1 out. And Greg Gentry will be next. The A's and Rangers finish up this series here tonight. Tomorrow the Yankees come in. Their only visit to Globe Life Park. 7:05 tomorrow night, right here on Fox Sports Southwest. Also on Wednesday night, we'll have a 7:05 start on Fox Sports Southwest. On Tuesday, you can watch the game on Fox Sports 1. Wednesday night, don't forget, for you folks that have not gotten your tickets yet, the Rangers are going to honor Derek Jeter, his last visit to Globe Life Park in his illustrious career. Be a pregame ceremony and Rangers honoring the Yankee captain. A ball and a strike, the count to Gentry. Greg 0 for 2 officially with a walk. Sexy swing. The appeal down at first, no swing. 2-1 now. Fearbend back to the plate. Chopper foul. Notice in the scoreboard today, the Blue Jays defeated the Yankees. They took 2 out of 3 from New York over the weekend. Blue Jays did.
The team that's continuing to play well and hanging in there is the Orioles. They still have a nice lead, 3-game lead in the East.
Gentry pops it up. Backpedaling Elvis. It's going to be 2 for 2 on the pop-ups this inning. The Orioles with that now a 4-game lead over the Yankees. 3 games still over Toronto in that American League West, East, I should say. Here's Jaso, a 2 for 4 night. He has driven in 3. He couldn't stop his swing there as Fearbend. A pretty good breaking ball. Nothing in 1. Rangers captain consoling a distraught Rangers fan. That's nice of him to do that. 0-1 pitch.
Some people are much happier to see Ranger captain than others.
Yeah. I think he's one of those acquired tastes.
Yeah. Another one.
Jam shot. Aaron Sabia on to Fearbend, and that'll do it. So a 1-2-3 inning for Fearbend. We've taken the stretch now. It's 9-2 Oakland. Please join Chuck Morgan as he announces God Bless America.
Services both at home and around the world. Tonight we invite you to join in singing God Bless America with Stacy Dyer.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean.
Now to show you our selection for the night, our AT&T fan photo of the evening comes to us from Melody. Very nice picture. Thank you very much, Melody. We appreciate it. For the folks that would like to tweet your photos, it's hashtag Southwest Fan Photo, and we'll select a photo to be shown every night that we're on Fox Sports Southwest. Shin-Soo Choo leading off for the Rangers here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Choo is 1 for 2 tonight. A first inning single, walked in the 3rd, grounded into a double play in the 5th. Facing the left-hander Eric O'Flaherty, who drops in the breaking ball, and that evens the count. Choo now a .244 average. O'Flaherty back to him. 2-1. Roman Mendez up and loosening in the Ranger bullpen. Choo takes a strike, and a grimace after he heard Jim Wolf yell out strike. 2-2. O'Flaherty of the high set. The pitch in tight. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Choo trying to get aboard to start off the Rangers 7th. Needs some base runners. Trailing by 7, Elvis Andrus is waiting in the on-deck circle. O'Flaherty started to go to the stretch, and no, I really don't want to throw that. And he stepped off. Now he's set. Payoff pitch. Got him swinging. Tied Shin-Soo up with a fastball inside. And O'Flaherty with his first strikeout. That is 1 away for Andrus. Now Tuesday night, the middle game of the Yankee series with the Rangers. You'll be able to see that on Fox Sports 1, 6:30 Central Time. Glad to have the Fox Sports 1 crew in town. We'll be with you tomorrow night and Wednesday night. And, Fox Sports 1 on Tuesday night. O'Flaherty is finished for the evening. Bob Melvin out there making the call to the bullpen. So we have a pitching change underway here in the 7th inning. A's on top by a 9-2 count. We're back after this on Fox Sports Southwest. All right, Rick, thank you. Now Ryan Cook, the 27-year-old right-hander now, has come on to take over with 1 out. The base is empty in the 7th inning.
Yeah, good numbers for Ryan Cook. This will be his 34th ball game. Solid ERA, almost a strikeout per inning. Opponents are hitting less than 200 against him. Good fastball, good slider.
And Cook, part of that trade that the A's made with the Diamondbacks. Trevor Cahill and Craig Breslow going to the desert. Jared Parker and Ryan Cook and Colin Cowgill coming in return and set the A's up pretty well in that trade.
Yeah, Jared Parker ended up pitching better for the A's than Trevor Cahill did for Arizona. And they got Cook was kind of like a bonus. Ended up making the All-Star team that first year. He was a closer for a while till they got Grant Balfour.
Elvis pops one foul and out of play, and the count moves to a ball and 2 strikes.
The A's have some injuries this year as well to their rotation. A.J. Griffin, Jared Parker, 2 really good young starters. Over the last couple of years, put them together, they're almost 20 games over 500. They had to make do without both of those kids. Giving some opportunities to some other guys who've done a pretty good job too. Jesse Chavez especially.
Yeah. Who had never started before.
No.
And you really didn't know what to expect, but well, he has been nothing short of sensational.
He's 8-6 with a 3.14 ERA.
And that's a fair ball, and Elvis thought it came up and hit him, and Jim Wolf tried to jump right out there and said it was a fair ball the whole way. Now Ron Washington going to go out and talk to him, and Elvis had to have felt like that ball came up and hit him while he was still in the batter's box. And Jim Wolf didn't see it that way. Yeah, I think that's the right call. It sure didn't look like it.
Well, he didn't come close to hitting.
In contact time. Get a better angle from the front side.
Well, sometimes hitters argue that the ball hit in foul territory, which doesn't even matter. It's just where the ball ends up. The ball looked like it hit behind the plate, but that makes no difference.
So 2 outs. And the put out goes to John Jaso. Alex Rios the hitter. Rios 1 for 3 tonight. Fouls it off to the right, and the count is even now at 1-1. We're talking about the guys in the rotation, and then Billy Bean's able to go out and get Jeff Smarja to kind of fortify the spot. He waited until close to the trade deadline.
The other guy that was pitching great for him that they acquired in the offseason was Drew Pomerantz.
Right.
Pomerantz was 5-4 with a 2.91 ERA. What did he do? He punched a wall?
Yeah.
Punched a wall after a bad game, broke his hand, came back, they sent him to the minor leagues.
2-1 pitch. Big sweeping breaking ball. I think, if I remember right, it was the game that he pitched against the Rangers.
Yeah, it was against the Rangers. One of the only poor games he had.
Yeah.
While he was in the rotation, he was throwing the ball great.
Now the 2-2 from Cook. Boy, pitchers are just living inside on everybody.
They are. I don't know that I've seen this many quality jam shots in one game. Both teams, too.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, there's been 11 runs and 17 hits, too, so they haven't been doing enough of it.
He centered up a few of them. And the breaking ball is down a bit. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So with 2 outs, Rios trying to get aboard to extend this 7th inning. Adrian Beltre waiting for a chance against Ryan Cook. Payoff pitch on the way. Got him swinging. But Cook gets the strikeout. Rangers, after all that, gone in order. The 2 pitchers. We're going to the 8th inning here at Globe Life Park. It's the A's 9 and the Rangers 2.
tonight here at Globe Life Park. But the big night right now is talking about progressive fan of the game. We have to give it to Irving Hall, Buzz, and Tom. He is 83 years young, comes all the way in from Virginia, and you've been watching the Rangers from day one. How's it been going so far, Irving?
Been going good.
And you've always watching the Rangers?
I've always watched.
How do you keep up with them?
I do it over the television, and I have to pay to view.
You have to pay to view?
Yeah, the Rangers.
What do you have to pay for? The MLB, right?
Right.
Okay. You like that?
I do.
Okay, all right. Well, good to have you, Urban. Here's the shirt. Congratulations. Appreciate it. Rangers fan of the game. Thanks for coming in from Virginia Beach.
Thank you so much.
All right, appreciate it, Urban.
Great Ranger fan right there.
Yep, very much so.
We're Buzz, I hope you and I are coming out and watching Ranger baseball when we're his age, just like he is.
You aren't kidding. You aren't kidding. Roman Mendez taking over. And Mendez doesn't have to worry about being 83 anytime soon.
No, he doesn't. Doesn't have to worry about pitching poorly yet either.
No.
7 games, hasn't given up anything. 10 innings. An .094 opponent's batting average.
Mendez, who just turned 24 years of age, working here to Stephen Vogt to start things off on the hard-throwing right-hander. Misses high for ball 1. Vogt 2 for 4 tonight. A single, a double. He has driven in a run. He has scored a run. Flied out a couple of times also. That pitch fouls back. A ball and a strike. Vogt a .362 average as he faces Mendez, leading off the A's 8th inning. Oakland 9 runs on 10 hits. The Rangers 2 runs on 7 hits tonight. To left field, Robertson a step in now, a few steps back. Daniel hauls it in. That is out number 1. And it brings up Yoenis Cespedes. Well, Mendez, despite the numbers, or on top of the numbers, making a great impression with his ability to fill the strike zone up, too. He is throwing strikes with all 3 pitches. Had a good fastball, a sharp breaking ball, and a very good split-fingered pitch.
They've only given up 3 hits in 10 and a third innings now. And he's one of the guys when, again, we talk about development. The Rangers talk about development. Here's a prime example of what they're trying to develop. Young kid with a great arm, 3 quality pitches, way above average fastball. Can he develop into a late inning bullpen guy for 2015? Early results look pretty good for him.
Sure do. There's been nothing short of outstanding. 0-1 pitch. Looped into center field. Leonis Martin coming on. Plenty of time to get there. And that is out number 2 as Cespedes. A lazy fly ball. Now Brandon Moss. Well, fans, for the rest of the season, fans can count U's strikeouts at home and save on upcoming games. For every strikeout U throws at home, the Rangers will offer fans $1 off tickets in select seating areas, up to $12. Watch Darvish throw on Monday night against the Yankees, then visit TexasRangers.com/strikeout on Tuesday and use the online coupon code STRIKEOUT to take advantage of this great offer. Brandon Moss 0 for 3 tonight with a walk. Mendez with the 0-1 pitch. Got that split finger pitch that he throws close to 90 miles an hour with that pretty good tearing action. Moss, as you can see, a .263 average. Mendez back to him. Good fastball. Knee high, painting the outside corner. 1-2. Roman Mendez, you remember, originally property of the Red Sox. And he came over in the deal that Sent Jared Saltalamacchia to Boston back in 2010. Splitter stays outside. 2-2. Moss waiting. Mendez ready. Heaves a big sigh and lets it go. 95, and Moss just able to stay alive. Mendez, good size at 6'3". He's listed at 190, but I think that might be underestimating.
That might have been when he signed at 16.
He's pretty stoutly built. Another 2-2 pitch is coming. To center field. Leonis Martin gliding to his right. That'll do it. So 3 fly balls, and 11 pitches later, the A's are gone in order. After 7.5, the A's 9 and the Rangers.
Welcome back to Globe Life Park. The Rangers down 9-2 in the bottom of the 8th. Well, we have a very busy Rangers Live presented by Esurance postgame show coming up afterwards. Of course, Mark McLemore and Pudge Rodriguez are working right now. They'll help me break all of this down here on the network. Pudge always working very hard and waving at the camera there. Plus, we got some great news about Derek Holland. Video of Joey Gallo going deep in Frisco, number 36 on the year for him. That's after the game. Rangers Live presented by Esurance, guys.
All right, Rick, thank you. Well, the rally hat's not out yet, but they will be shortly. Rangers trailing 9-2. The crowd of almost 39,000 on hand here tonight, 38,915. Evan Scribner has come out of the A's bullpen to become the 4th pitcher used tonight by Bob Melvin.
Scribner has been up and down with the A's the last few years. This will be his 4th appearance so far this year. As recalled, Thursday, actually his 3rd stint with the A's this year. At Sacramento, he appeared in 31 games, was pitching very well at a .335 ERA and 37 2/3 innings with 14 saves. He was the closer at AAA.
And facing Adrian Beltre, and he throws a fastball up in Adrian's eyes, and Beltre swung through it. Beltre tonight is 1 for 2, a double back in the 3rd inning. He's also walked and grounded out. Scribner, that ball is belted to left field. Cespedes watching this one go goodbye.
He missed the first one, but he didn't miss the second one.
Beltre with his 15th home run of the year. It's a 9-3 Oakland lead. Beltre has homered for the first time since the Toronto series.
A double earlier in the game down the right field line, and he definitely turned that fastball around. Ball got out of here in a hurry and went a long way.
Well, Beltre, the leadoff home run. And now Jim Ducey has come out of the Ranger dugout. He will pinch hit for J.P. Arancibia. Right-hander Scribner out there. And our AT&T U-Verse rewind just a minute ago.
This one, everyone in the park knows that ball's gone the minute it hit the bat, including Scribner. Just put his head down, getting ready to get another baseball.
Yeah, you recognize that.
Knew that one wasn't coming back.
Yeah. That's when he released the ball and immediately held his glove up to the umpire. Say, okay, give me another ball. 391 feet, the guesstimate, only because Stan's got in the way.
Yeah, that would have gone a line drive. It wasn't coming straight down. It had a little bit more distance to it.
Ducey up there, a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. He chops one foul. Scribner okays the sign. He is set. And Ducey lifts a fly ball to shallow left. Cespedes camping under it, makes the grab. 1 gone. And that'll bring up Chris Jimenez.
Scribner, I was going to say, Scribner is one of those college pitchers who has been a relief pitcher from the day he signed. He's never had a start, minor leagues or major leagues. Signed with Arizona, traded to San Diego, and a waiver claim by the A's. He's got a good arm, though. Fastball in the low 90s, good overhand curveball.
Jimenez tonight 1 for 3. And Chris swinging through that first pitch. Nothing in 1. Jimenez a single and a run scored in the second. Scribner back to the plate. 1-1. Now the right-hander ready to work once again. 1-2. Scribner originally made his major league debut with the Padres back in 2011. Appeared in 10 games for San Diego. The next year he went to Oakland. He's been there since. Backing out of play, still a ball and 2 strikes. Right-hander okays the sign. He's ready. 2-2. Adrian Beltre led the inning off with his 15th home run of the year. A blast into the seats in left field. Another foul ball off Jimenez's bat. Chris getting the start tonight behind the plate, and you would figure that he would be behind the plate tomorrow night with Yu Darvish on the hill. They have become a duo as far as the battery is concerned. Yu Darvish pitches. Scribner again with the 2-2. And that runs the count full. Scribner with a payoff pitch to Jimenez. We'll try it again. Jimenez having a pretty good at bat against Scribner. Adam Rosales waiting in the on-deck circle. Another 3-2 is coming. Got him swinging. Well located fastball. Jimenez, after a pretty good battle, goes down on strikes. 2 gone, and Rosales coming up.
Scribner just had that one in a tough location. Threw it away. Not sure if it was a strike or not. Chris was just trying to spoil it, maybe foul it off and stay alive in the at bat.
Rosales 1 for 2 tonight. That 2-run home run. Last time up, he was hit by a pitch. There we go, Flaherty got him on the left knee. He's 1 for 2 officially tonight. Average at 261 as Scribner comes back to the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fouled away. Back to the second inning. Got Kazmir. Threw the changeup and stayed up a bit. And Adam Rosales reaching out, poking it 380 feet. And then sprinted around the bases. And he was already past second when that ball came down.
Well, if it hit the wall, he would have had a triple.
Yep. And he skies this one to left field. Not very deep. Coming in a few steps, Cespedes, and that'll do it. Well, Beltre's lead-off home run, but that's all the Rangers can muster in the 8th inning. A run on a hit. Nobody left. On to the 9th. 9-3 Oakland.
Leading your Texas Rangers 9-3 in the rubber match. Now, Rangers next welcome in Derek Jeter and the New York Yankees tomorrow for a 3-game set. Yu Darvish set to throw that first 7:05 pitch tomorrow night. Again, it's Derek Jeter's final game here in Arlington. There will be an honorary ceremony for him before the game. This look here brought to you by AT Uverse. Now, Buzz and Tom, as you know, tomorrow also brings the 20-year anniversary of Kenny Rogers' perfect game in a Rangers uniform against the then California Angels.
It was a big night, Aaron. Thank you very much. Yeah, that brings back some memories. The
Sure
first
does.
year of the ballpark. Kenny Rogers, I'm sure we'll have some video of that tomorrow night for you.
There you go.
Look forward to seeing that. Sean Tollison on the hill now for the Rangers.
Well, Sean Tollison got a chance to make the team, and he's certainly cashed in on that opportunity. He's pitched very well this year. He's pitched frequently. He's pitched a lot of innings, 49 innings. Good strikeout to walk ratio. Earlier in the season, plagued a little bit by the home run ball. He's given up 9 home runs. But for the most part, he's come in and done an excellent job for the Rangers. Good fastball, good hard slider, coming up with a good changeup. Feel very confident when Sean comes into the game that good things are going to happen for the Rangers.
Josh Donaldson 1 for 4 tonight, a single and a run scored back in the 5th. And he takes a fastball poured right through there by Tollison. John Tollison, the 26-year-old Allen native and a Baylor ex. One and one the count. And a called strike on the inside corner.
2 94-mile-an-hour fastballs, one on one side, one on the other side of the plate.
John's come up also throwing that cutter a little bit more, a little cut fastball. And, boy, that's made a difference in the effectiveness to left-handers. He's been able to get that ball in on the fists of left-handers pretty easily. He tried to run that back to the inside corner and just missed. Well, that evens the count at 2-2. Donaldson waiting as Tollison studies the signs. It's hit in the air down the right side, but that will peel off and head out of play. Still 2-2. Donaldson last night with his 22nd home run of the year took a pitch into the Ranger bullpen, driving the ball to right center field, showing the kind of power he has to all fields. He gets fisted there by Tollison and fights it off foul. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Donaldson nods yes, and he's ready. Had the breaking ball and couldn't get Donaldson to offer at it. The count is full. Donaldson leading things off in the 9th inning for Oakland. He'll be followed by the right fielder, Josh Reddick. Payoff pitch from Tollison. Breaking ball just outside. And the leadoff walk puts Donaldson away. Well, folks, we'd like to invite you to watch Chevy Hometown Kids every Saturday morning. It's on at 10 o'clock right here at Fox Sports Southwest, where it's not about the score, it's about the experience. One on, nobody out. Reddick 2 for 4 tonight with an RBI single his last time up. 1 ball, no strikes. Reddick, 241 hitter as he faces Tollison. Two and 0. John Tollison acquired in November on a waiver claim from the Dodgers. John had spent bits and pieces of the last couple of years in L.A. Ground ball up the middle into center field, a base hit. Donaldson will stop at second. Reddick has his 3rd hit of the night. And the A's have runners at first and second for Jed Lowry. Ty Waller talking with Josh Reddick down there at first. So 2 on, nobody out. And Lowry coming to the plate for the 5th time. He has popped out, grounded out twice, and walked. So 0 for 3 officially. Tollison deals that fastball to the inside corner for strike 1. Lowry again changing sides of the plate, going back with the right-hander Tollison on the mound to hit as a lefty. Lowry, one of just 2 A's that have not had a hit tonight. He and Brandon Moss have been held hitless so far. Late swing and a miss. He's down on the count now, 0-2. A's 9 runs on 11 hits tonight. Rangers 3 runs on 8 hits. A's have 2 runners aboard, nobody out here in the top of the 9th inning. Donaldson at second. Josh Reddick, the runner over at first. Now the 0-2 coming. Call strike 3.
Oh, well located pitches in that at bat. Yep. Lowry's not too sure about it. But Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire, was pretty sure about it. You see the catcher set up inside, and there's the ball right in his glove, and no doubt about that one. That wasn't even close to being a ball. That had all of the strike zone. That's just a case where the hitter just didn't see the ball that well.
Yeah.
Might have been looking for one in a different location, but no doubt that ball was in the strike zone. Good pitch by Sean.
Well, that is out number 1, and now Eric Sogard, who is 1 for 3, steps to the plate. Sogard, RBI double in the 5th inning. Sogard also walked and scored in the 2nd. Other than that, he has flied out and popped out. Tollison ready for the 1-0 pitch. Just off the outer edge. 2-0. Donaldson getting his lead from second, peering in at the signs from Chris Jimenez. Tollison missing low and outside. 3 balls and no strikes. Ranger pitchers tonight with 5 walks, along with the 11 hits. Fastball, belt high.
Walks really hurt Miles Mikolas in the 5-run 2nd inning. He got an out and then walked Lowry and Sogard, and they both came around to score. Gentry walked in the 5th and scored.
Yep. This inning, Donaldson led off with a walk, followed by a single from Reddick. And Sogard pops it up. The field fly rule will be in effect here. Elvis Andrews to put it away. That is out number 2, and Gentry will come to the plate.
Center fielder Craig Gentry.
Elvis and Adrian Beltre looking up at the big screen. Jack Morgan replays the pop-ups on that side of the infield routinely, and they have that little game where they both appear like they're going to catch the ball.
Yeah, if you somehow happen to lose the ball and you just look down at the field to see who is underneath it, you really wouldn't know. And just look at the fielders right now. Look at Beltre. Looks like he's underneath it to catch it. Who's got it? No, it's Elvis.
They both get a kick out of that.
Sometimes the camera guy might lose the ball. He looks at the infielder. They don't know who's going to catch it.
Gentry, a swing and a miss. It's 1-1.
Maybe they do that so, Buzz, when you're calling the play, you'll say, Beltre's underneath it, getting ready. No, it's Elvis that caught it.
Yeah.
Got a feeling they'd really get a kick out of that.
Probably. I'm losing my mind anyway. We don't need the help.
Yeah, no kidding.
Pitch inside to Gentry. It's 2 balls and a strike. Craig tonight has scored a couple of runs. He's been on by a fielder's choice and also walked. Average of 265 for the year. Up the middle. Knocked down by Tollison. He recovers and throws out gently. A little hide and seek with the baseball. And Tollison fortunately found it in time. That'll do it for the A's. They strand a couple on a hit and a walk. Rangers coming up in the ninth. 9-3 Oakland. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. By AT&T UVerse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT, mobilizing your world. And by your Texas Ford dealers. The Ford Summer Spectacular Sales Event. Now playing at a Ford dealer near you. The bottom of the ninth inning has arrived here at Globe Life Park. Rangers have some work to do. They trail 9-3 to the A's. And the left-hander Fernando Abad is out of the bullpen now to take over.
Yeah, Abad is ninth among American League relievers with a 175 opponent's batting average. He won't have any runners on base, but he stranded all 17 runners that he's inherited coming into a ball game. He's done an excellent job. The A's bullpen has been terrific. Third in ERA at 2.99 ERA. Issued the fewest walks. They've walked 15 batters in the last 33 games. That's in 107 innings. So they throw strikes. They get people out. And Abad's done a nice job for him this year.
And the first hitter that Abad will face tonight, Leonis Martin, who is 0 for 3. It'll be Martin, Daniel Robertson, and then Shin-Soo Choo. Leonis has grounded out twice and flied to right field. The average at 264 for the Rangers center fielder. Abad into the stretch. And fires just outside for ball one. Martin now 0 for 8 in this series. There is a strike. That evens things at 1-1. Go back over the game before that. Almost 0 for his last 11 times to the plate. Foul back. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Well, Leonis, as you would expect for players that are trying to establish themselves in the big leagues, kind of a roller coaster offensively. Got off to a very good start and went downhill for a little while, then back up to near 300. He has fallen off in his last 20 or 25 games a bit. Pitch fouled away to the left. And it's still 1-2.
If you look at Abad's recent history, 2011 he had a 7.32 ERA with Houston. The next year it was 5.09. He was 0-6. Last year decent with Washington, but in his career he'd given up 140 hits in 120 innings. Pretty hard to predict this kind of a relief season for him based on what he'd done before.
Behind the left field, Cespedes into a little pirouette out there. They almost overran that shot off the bat of Leonys Martin, but that is out number one. One center fielder from the Cuban national team taking care of the other.
I think he sliced that ball with a little more authority than Cespedes thought he did. He was going to come in and catch that about chest high and almost went over his head.
Well, that is out number one. Now Daniel Robertson will come up. I guess you never know when you get a guy like Abad that has been around, like you were talking about, Tom. And you put him in a different situation, in a ballpark that really is made for pitching in Oakland.
Yeah.
And it changes leagues and
good environment.
Yeah.
Winning team.
You know, and maybe he fits. Maybe that's the square hole for the square peg that he's got.
Yeah.
0-1 pitch. And Robertson a fly ball to right. Reddick drifting toward the line, back a couple of steps. That is out number two. And the Rangers down to their final out. Chu will try and extend things against Fernando Abad. Chu 1 for 3 tonight. He has singled and walked. He's also grounded into a double play and struck out. Rangers, unless they can make a very dramatic comeback here, will fall to 1-5 against the A's here at home this year. Oakland the first time in swept them the 3-game series after the Rangers had swept the A's in Oakland. They returned the favor, and A's getting to the verge of winning 5 out of 6 now here at Globe Life Park.
This is a big game for the A's. Their lead had shrunk to 2 games. Angels won last night again, won today again. Could have gotten down to 1 game.
Bob missing low and outside. 3 balls, no strikes. Bob Beltre's club. And the Angels, the 2 top records in all of Major League Baseball, are 1-2 in the AL West. They are 1-2 in MLB. 3-0 pitch. That is a strike. Both playing better than .600 baseball this year.
And almost every division in baseball, they would have a 6 or 7 game lead. But the Angels have the 2nd best record in Major League Baseball.
That is a strike. Chu was on his way to first, and Jim Wolf rang it up. Well, the count is full. Fox tracker showing her that last pitch right on the edge. Abad gets the sign, and the left-hander sets. The payoff pitch on the way. Popped up. Right center field. Reddick drifting over there, makes the catch, and that will do it. So the Rangers come up short in the 9th inning. 9-3 the final, as Scott Kazmir gets credit for the win. He's now 12-3. Miles Mikolas takes the loss. He is 1-3, and the A's end up winning the series, taking 2 out of 3. Well, Rick Renner and Mark McLemore and Pudge will be back to wrap things up right after this on Fox Sports Southwest.